Greetings, Koopalings, and welcome to the podcast. Play some video games. Myself, Donnie Reese, in the host chair, joined by JV the Monster and Delvin the Cox. Delvin the Cox.
Whoa!
What?
Delvin the Cox.
We got to work on that nickname of yours, buddy.
That's what the ladies call me.
I mean, do we have to work on the nickname?
That's yeah.
For the guys, yeah. For
That's fair.
The Hatuis, now we good.
Hatua, yeah. Welcome to the show. Tonight should be fun. I have the draft up. I'm like monitoring as we go. We'll be somewhat distracted for most of the evening as I count down the picks.
Did Bernie go number one? Like he should have?
Did not go number one. The Ricochet, the French kid, he went number one to the Hawks. That is correct. And then so far the draft has broken kind of exactly like most people thought it would, like the mocks. It's like kind of right down. So yeah, Ricochet. Well, I mean, I thought everybody thought Sarr was going to go to Atlanta, but then Sarr told Atlanta he didn't want to go to Atlanta, so they took Ricochet. So then Sarr goes to Washington. Houston took the Kentucky kid that can shoot, which is a really great fit because they need shooters. And they're starting to put together like a really nice young squad. And then Stephen Castle, like the March Madness kind of wonderkin from UConn, he goes to San Antonio, where they desperately need a point guard. So everything's kind of breaking exactly as it's supposed to. The bigger news are all the trades that came out. The trades that came out last night. And then Delvin, one Jimmy Butler saying, I ain't signing shit. I plan to walk at the end of the year. That's big news.
Yeah, that's really big news.
I wonder if Miami trades him.
You know, part of me is like, we'll be all right. Because every time a star player comes back in, so it's like, we'll be all right.
I mean, right now, if I was Pat Riley, I'd pick up the phone. I'd call Steve Ballmer, and I'd go, hey, do you want to do a sign-in trade? I'll trade you Jimmy, and you trade me Paul George.
I like that.
And we'll just call it 1 for 1. We'll call it even. Because Paul George wants the fourth year. They don't want to give him the fourth year. Miami, why not? You know, it's like, we'll give him the fourth year. We'll bring Paul George. Like, Miami will be fine because they are a destination in the NBA. Players will find their way there.
Yeah, people want to be in South Beach. So,
but it looks like
going to be a problem.
The Jimmy era might be coming to a close either now or within a year or so. That's probably winded down.
That's disappointing, but it was a good ride.
It was.
Better
than expected. Got to the finals, 3 times? 2 times?
Yeah, that's why I said it's better than expected.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's like him, Bam, and a bunch of flunkies.
Yeah.
And I wonder how people would think of Bam had he not played next to Jimmy. Nothing against Bam, but like, it's not like Bam's a fine player.
He is.
I wonder if he was on a different team with a different, like, if he was like if he was in Houston, do people know Bam Adebayo's name?
We wouldn't talk about him the way we do.
Yeah, like he'd still be a good player. People like, yeah, he's good. That Bam kid's good over there, but like nobody would really know him.
Yeah.
But the Pistons took Ron Holland, who is like the most generic name. Yeah. I think he might be the best player in the draft.
That's good for them, you know.
I like that pick by the Pistons.
The Pistons are destined for like the number 5th pick. So
yeah, people call him like Danny Granger. I've seen. He's just kind of like he's just good. You know, he's a big forward who's got like a great 2-point shot. Got a great spot up game. Can extend to the corner. Can dribble. He's just good. But here's he's not electric. That's why he's at 4 because he's not amazing. But in a draft like this, I'd take him.
He's not a game changer, but he's a nice piece.
Yeah, like he might be like an 18-10 guy for the next 10 years. Like I'll take him.
You need those guys.
You need those guys, exactly. And in a draft like this, like I don't know what Ricochet is going to be. Like the competition with that kid is sketch, right? Ron Holland can play though. You know, like he might be like, you know, like a poor man's Ron Harper one day, and
I love Ron Harper.
That's not bad.
That's awesome.
That's actually not bad at all.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough basketball news. If people didn't already tune out,
it's fine. I'm waiting to see who calls LeBron's bluff and gets Bronny.
Yeah, I'll let you know as it comes out. I'm very interested to see
because he said whoever gets Bronny, that's where he's going to play.
Well, he's also walked that back multiple times.
Yeah.
He didn't say that, for one. Like, let's keep it 100. He said he would love to play with his son before he calls it quits.
Yes.
That's what he said.
Yeah. The assumption is whoever drafted Bronny was eventually going to get LeBron.
You've got a chance. You've got a good chance. If I was a small market team that had no chance, I'd draft him.
Exactly.
Like, I would draft him and hold him. Like, if I were New Orleans or Memphis, 100% I'd draft him.
Just who I was thinking.
Because, like, who else are you going to draft? Whoever you draft's not going to play anyway. You might as well. You know, maybe a year, maybe it doesn't happen this year, but maybe in a year or two, maybe LeBron walks in on the minimum or something. And then you have a real chance.
Second rounder. He's a second rounder, right? So
I don't think he's going to make it to the second.
You really think somebody's going to reach?
He's a second round, like he's barely a second rounder on his own.
He's.
But the allure of what he could mean, I've seen so many. Like our own owner, I'm a Cavs fan, for example, right? Our owner, Dan Gilbert, is a huge Michigan State fan. I've literally seen this man pay $8 million to Houston for a second round pick to take his favorite player off the Spartans. That was terrible. He wasn't even any good. The kid was like 5'8", but he just wanted him. And there's a ton of owners in the league that do that. Like the NBA is that league. Like the guy that bought the Suns and just traded for Durant, like in the same day.
Crazy.
Like he did that the same day.
Yeah, he was like, I'm basically playing fantasy,
of course,
draft in real life now.
So understanding that as a reality, I don't think we watched the entire night go by and know, but somebody's coming to get him. I don't know when and I don't know where, but I can't. I got a feeling somebody's going to be like, who cares? 26, 36, what? Who gives a fuck? Same difference, you know? They're going to try to go get him.
I was looking it up, Donnie. Did he have the 43rd pick in the second round?
I think the Heat are definitely a Bronny type of destination.
If they was to get, they can do the funniest thing ever.
I think the Heat, the Suns, the Mavs, Memphis. I think all that makes sense. Here's a crazy one. San Antonio.
Ooh,
you're sitting there, San Antonio. You got a ton of picks. Why not?
But
you've got Wemby.
That would be too fun for LeBron. You have to go someplace where you're like, I don't want to go back to Miami.
He likes Pop. He played for him in USA. Like
I know that's the problem.
Yeah, that would be incredible. Like I would absolutely drive.
They need a guard. Yeah, like that to me. Like that's the situation. I'm like, dude, I would do it. I would move up to do it. They've got 2 top 10 picks. I wouldn't take them there. But the moment like we get past 15, I'd be on the phone. Like, how can we get up there? We want to get up to 17, 18, 20, 22. We're going to come draft Bronny.
But doesn't
we'll see if LeBron wants to come to San Antonio one day.
Doesn't it all come down to Savannah, though? Because if Savannah's just like, hey, you know what? I don't want to leave LA.
But here's the thing. They're all old. The kids are old. They're on the road anyway. Like, what's it matter? You stay in LA, live there. You're going to see him the same amount anyway.
Yeah.
I think for the opportunity to play with his son, I don't think San Antonio would be too hard. Like, they got Wemby. They've got other guys. They've got picks. Like, it could be worse.
It doesn't really matter. He's never home anyway.
Exactly.
He's playing basketball.
Not during the season.
With his side chick. Like, whatever.
That's rough. Anyway, video games. Video games. I don't want to lose everybody because I could keep going. I could do this. I love talking basketball, and I don't have enough friends that I get a chance to talk about it enough. So we better cut this off before it just becomes the show.
This episode, you might want to turn off because you have a friend to talk about wrestling with and basketball.
I'm very excited to see what I've said it before. Like, this draft is kind of terrible. If you are at the top of the draft and you're terrible, like if you're Charlotte, you're Detroit, and you're looking for somebody to come in and change your franchise, this draft sucks.
This ain't it.
But if you're good, like if you're Denver, the Cavs, the Celtics, the Heat, like if you have, and you're looking for a guy to come off the bench and help you, there's a ton of dudes in this draft for like from 8 to 40. There's just those dudes, like a bunch of one-trick players. You know, like everybody has like that one thing that they can do. I can shoot. I can play defense. I'm big. I can pass. Like they got that one role player thing, and that's perfect. It's perfect as a Cavs fan. Like that, we're perfectly where we need to be. That's exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So anyway, video games. Dalvin, we'll start with you. What you been up to? What you been playing, man?
I ain't been playing much at all, really. Just been busy, man. With everything that's been going on, and now it's starting to settle in. I can tell one of these stories now. I'll tell the fun, weird, fortunate story. So, when we were moving stuff, 'cause we're still moving stuff from the old house to the new house, and my daughter, of course, is a psychopath. I said, hey, start moving this stuff over here. She's like, oh, but I have to paint the room. Like, what do you mean paint the room? Just move stuff over. I want the room gray. I can't move anything over here till I have the room gray. I said, whatever. I'll get some gray paint. I don't care. Leave me alone. So I said, just start getting the stuff out the room so you can start putting your stuff in there. So she's taking stuff out the room. Well, first she throws everything out that's in the refrigerator. Stuff that was like my mom's stuff. My mom's been staying there while I have been there, and she just threw all my mom's stuff out. And she's like, it's all bad. Like, no, it isn't. Just threw all the food. We have no food now.
I like that. That's kind of my energy. I'm like, yeah, let's just start over. Clean slate. Just dump it all out. Fill it back up.
Now we have no groceries. And so then she cleans up the room.
Let me ask you this. I mean the most respect. Is it an old refrigerator?
Oh no, it's a
new refrigerator. Okay,
yeah, it's a good refrigerator.
Because I don't know if everybody understands what I mean when I'm about to say this, but I think most people do. I think some people do. At least I hope they do. Maybe I'm about to announce something that's like really weird about me or something I've always thought of. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to land.
Okay,
but I feel like most people should know, like the smell of an old person's old refrigerator.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like that, I grew up and like go to my grandparents' house, other people's grandparents' house, and like you get like a refrigerator that's been there a while.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is a 30-year-old refrigerator. You're like, you open that thing up and you're like, oh.
It's still running.
Yeah, it's
this is from 1975.
Awful. And they're like, oh, it's fine. Just grab the food. I'm like, I don't want it anymore. Like, I was going to ask you if it was one of those situations because I've been like, the whole thing's got to go.
With the 80s Tupperware in it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To be fair to my daughter, my grandmother did keep shit in there like that's like way over expired.
I think everybody's grandma does. Yes. Like, it's just like what you do.
From like the 80s. Like,
yeah.
Like, why is this here?
I think that's where I'll never, like, that smell is tangible. Like, there's only one smell like it, and that's it. It smells like that, and yeah.
Correct. The refrigerator is new because we bought it like, I want to say 2 years ago for her birthday because she wanted a stove refrigerator, like a stainless steel stove refrigerator. We all chipped in and bought it, and she never used the stove. She just wanted it because it was pretty. Like, so we paid all this money for the stainless steel stove.
Yeah.
And you'll appreciate this, Donnie.
She got to take photos.
She used the stove to hold her garbage bags.
Hey, man, she used that stove a lot every day. I thought you were going to say the lighter cigarette. That's where I was like, yeah, I know these people.
Yeah, so my daughter my son, he just throws all this stuff in there because he's excited to have his own room and stuff like that. My daughter's throwing everything out, pictures of loved ones, just anything she can find.
This is very stereotypical.
We don't need this. Like,
I was just about to say, if you've ever lived with a woman, you understand exactly what this is like.
Like, you can't throw out grandma's
that's not inaccurate.
You can't. Like, you have to put these to the side. Oh, okay. I didn't know that I was throwing them out. Like, all right. So anyway, we finished our packing for the day. I take them home. I'm at the house. I'm going through some of the boxes that's left over in that room. And it just so happened the next box that she was going to go through to throw out had a fucking 38 special in it.
Yeah, she got the piece, grandma's piece.
Yeah, it was just right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh. And I said, let me check, see if it's loaded. Oh, yeah. It's
oh, yeah, it is.
It was very loaded. and the thing about the gun was you could tell it wasn't used for a while because they had like a lot of rust on it and stuff like that. I couldn't open it up to get the bullets out of it. Like, God damn, how long has she had this gun since Reagan? Is this the gun that shot Kennedy? Like, what's going on with this
it's
gun?
It's from Black Ops.
Yeah. So I had to call my brother, who's for those who don't know, he's a police officer. Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you come pick up this gun and clean it up, and I'll keep the gun. He's like, because we already found one gun.
Wait a minute, you don't know how to clean a gun?
I don't have nothing to clean it with.
Oh, okay.
He's a cop. He has
Gotcha.
all that stuff in his house. So
Sure.
he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I'll come pick it up and I'll come clean it for you and stuff like that. Because he got the first gun we found. I just gave it to him. So you can take the gun. I don't really need a gun. I'm not a gun guy. This one I said, you know what?
Didn't you have like hookers throwing crack at you and stuff?
Yeah, I
I
probably
think you need a gun. Like,
They were stealing the crack, or they were throwing it at you?
no. They were planning the crack.
Yeah, they were planning the crack.
I thought they were like throwing it like it was a celebration. Like, yay,
Celebration, bitches.
crack! Like it's
Happy
the new
Crackmas.
confetti.
Merry Crackmas.
That's right. You know, instead of throwing snowballs, we're throwing snowballs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
Throwing 8 balls.
Yeah.
So I gave him the gun. He came pick up the gun. I bought a case for it and stuff like that. So now I own a gun. He's gonna take me to the range. We're gonna go shooting with it and stuff like that. Because I haven't.
Awesome.
I've shot a gun before, but it's been like years.
Like
I've never been a
decades,
gun guy.
years, or like 2 years?
Yeah, like decade. Like maybe 15
like the
years.
90s, since like you held it sideways.
I
Like in
might
the
have
rap
held-
battles.
I might have held it sideways before.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. Don't retreat now.
Yeah, like I was in a '90s movie, like I was in Above the Rim.
Oh my god. Are you saying you were basically Pac and Juice?
Maybe,
Mhm.
maybe.
And his mind is
like it.
gold coin.
Yeah, without the
Hey.
nose ring.
Wow.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Well, that's cool. I shared with you. You told me this DM. I have three handguns, so I get you. They're fun. Like they're fun to. I do enjoy shooting. I go shoot at my father-in-law's house whenever we go up there sometimes. But I mean, I do have them for home protection, and yeah, that's why it was loaded.
Yeah.
My grandma, my uncle, that kind of like took me in. His mom, who I always call grandma, she had like 12 guns. She had a gun in every house, like every room of the house. She had a gun in her chair. She had a gun in the bathroom. Like she was
John Wick.
packing. At any moment and anywhere, she had a gun under the cabinet in her next to the flour in the kitchen.
Damn.
So if you broke in, like in anywhere she was in the house, she
better
could
break
arm
out.
herself quickly.
It
And-
sounds like
Better
grandma
immediately
had
break out.
outs.
Yeah.
Like,
And
it
the
sounds
reason
like
that I
grandma
always
had
think of
enemies.
her is, long story short, I got taken away from my mom. I got moved to Georgia. I got placed in the friend's home. I was an orphanage for a couple years, and then my aunt and uncle got custody of me. So I went to go stay with my aunt and uncle. My uncle's not blood, so I didn't know him or his family. So I didn't know his mom. It was really like the first time I ever had to like carry a house key. Because I never had like a house, so I always had come home from school with a house key. I was notoriously terrible. My uncle jokes all the time that I lost like 100 of keys to his house because I just lose them all the time. So it was very frequent for me to like walk down to grandma's house who lived at the bottom of the hill and let grandma know like, hey, I don't have my key. Either let me in or I need to stay here. Well, one day after wrestling practice, I left my key and it was late. Because after wrestling practice. So I walked down there, nobody's home. I'm in my hoodie, I'm in my backpack and everything. And I knocked on the doors, maybe like 8:30 at night. And I was met nose to barrel. She opened the door ready to end me right then and there. Like if I did not say the right thing in seconds, that would have been it for me. So anytime I ever hear a story about a grandma with a gun, I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what that's like.
Yeah, grandmas aren't here to play.
No, I think you reach an age where you just don't give a fuck anymore, and like you're by yourself and you're alone. It's got to be very like isolating and like scary.
Yeah.
They're not asking questions.
Sure.
They'll ask questions after.
Yeah.
Shoot
Yeah,
first.
they don't got time for that.
Yeah, no
all.
time at all.
Oh, I have a funny comment to tell you guys that happened to me as well. So, most of my grandmother's stuff I donated to charity, and she had these 2 giant dressers that were like really old, like maybe like from the early 2000s old. But they were too heavy to lift up. So I said, let me call the Salvation Army to see if they can pick it up. So I called this number the Salvation Army has like to pick it up, right?
Yeah.
And what they basically do is they basically transfer you to a company that can pick up things for you, a random company.
Okay.
The company they transferred me to, College Hunks.
college hunks hauling junk.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the thing.
So I say, hey, I let them know what I have. They tell me how much it costs to pick it up. Say, okay, cool. They come Saturday. This giant ass truck that looks like a stripper truck comes up to my front of my house.
Wait a minute, what's a stripper truck?
You never seen a stripper truck? Like the truck that they have like with the strippers in it?
What?
This just Miami. This must be a Miami thing.
Why did he just said that so like mad? Like everybody has this experience. What the fuck are you talking about?
You said it like it's an ice cream truck. Like,
yeah,
like
the stripper truck. You know, it comes to the neighborhood playing the song, and you just get a stripper off. You just order it. Like what?
Well, you don't order things off the stripper truck. It's like a party van.
What?
Well,
okay.
It can also be it also can be a party van, but it's essentially a truck that inside has a stripper pole and all that stuff. And usually they're
Does it look like a box truck? They got to like roll up the door for you to see it, or can you see from the outside?
You can see from the outside, but it's not like, they can close it down and stuff like that and make it like a little more private. But
gotcha.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. But this giant truck that says College Hunks just pulled out in front of my house. This buff black
Delvin the
comes
Cox.
out.
Yeah, it makes sense now.
He just comes out and just with his tight ass shirts on, like, hey, where's the stuff at? Like, oh, it's inside. I felt really uncomfortable because now I think my whole neighborhood thinks I'm gay. They just see this giant truck.
College Hunks. I paid for them to come move some stuff once, and I had a bunch of raggedy dudes come out of the back. I was like, these guys are not in college.
I did not have that at all.
I saw them. She was like, this is very disappointing.
I did not have that at all. I had what you would think a truck that said College
My
Hunks
shit was
would
like
have.
middle-aged deacons hauling junk or something. Like it was.
I had a 20-year-old buff black guy, and I was like, "You need help with it?" He was like, "Nah, man, I got this." He just
yeah, no
tight shirt and all.
If the college hunk comes out and it's not a college, like if I'm Donnie, I'm immediately calling dispatch, and I'm like, I thought there was going to be like 5 frat guys with oil and overalls. What's happening? You are falsely advertising.
Yeah.
This is not. He's not in college, nor is he a hunk.
No.
John 32 wants to know: did you hire a male stripper truck? Is that what it was?
No, I should.
Did you potentially get it mixed up?
That's a good point.
You may want to reevaluate the phone book.
No. Well, to be fair, I would 100% hire a male stripper truck. Be like, hey, I need you to move some shit for me.
I mean,
I don't need you to take your clothes off.
There's a dude that does that. There's a dude that does it on TikTok. He has an entire channel dedicated to like making jokes at like the streetwalkers in like LA, like in California. So he'll sit there in his truck and he turns his little thing on. You'll see the girl walk over to the truck and she'll be like, "Hey, what do you need?" And he's like, "I need somebody to wash my truck." She's like, "What?" She's like, "How much do you like? How much does it pay? Like, what is it? Like 25 an hour, 50 an hour? I need somebody to wash my truck." She's like, "I'm not washing your truck." She's like, "I'll do something else." But I'm like, he's like, he'll have a whole conversation. It's very funny.
I think I've seen this dude.
He's like, "Wait a minute, I can pay you to do that, but I can't pay you to wash my truck." Like, what the fuck?
He does have a point.
She's a professional and she has an expertise, and that's what she's
fair.
doing.
Very fair.
You know?
It's safer to wash his truck, probably.
Probably.
Not probably.
I know where he is. If he's in LA, I know exactly.
Definitely. It's a very funny channel.
Whoa. Be careful, JV. Be careful.
You know,
he's like, "Oh, you don't know Lamar? I know that dude.
I know that area very well." Like,
whoa.
let's not.
He's on Figueroa to be clear. He's on Figueroa. That's where you find, ladies of that particular occupation.
Let's not get ourselves in trouble.
Hey, we're cross promoting. We're allies.
Yeah. Look. Y'all, if y'all want a handsome man taking up your furniture, call College Hunks. They did a great job. And it was quick. 15 minutes. All my stuff was out of there.
Nice.
There you go.
Oh, and I built a deck. Well, I didn't build a deck. I paid somebody to build a deck.
Oh, yeah, those are definitely two different things.
Yes.
I built a deck. Wait a minute. No, I didn't build a deck.
No.
I paid somebody to build it. Those are very different things.
I said, you fix my deck. And he said, okay. That's how that
Senior
conversation went. Yeah.
I got to do that myself. I've got a couple boards that are rotting.
Yeah, my deck was fucked up.
I swear to you, I looked at it and I was like, this can't be that damn hard. I'll go get some boards and I'll cut them. I don't even have a saw. I was like, I'll buy a saw. And then I started like YouTubing it and I started finding out like there's all this fucking, there's like specific.
It's a lot.
There's a specific screws you got to use, specific nails. And I was like, oh, fuck, never mind.
I was going to do the same thing.
Something to it. And so, yeah, I got to do that.
I thought the same thing and said, oh, fuck this.
Yeah, so we were both in that same place.
Professional.
Luckily for me, my next door neighbor is a contractor. He's super old, but like he works every day. He's gone before I am and comes back after I leave. And I went over to ask him because I asked somebody for a quote. I'm not trying to build a whole deck. Like I'm just trying to replace a couple boards. And I do want to do like some little work on my roof a little bit. And the quote I got from the contractor asked was $2,500. I was like, that sounds astronomical. So I had my neighbor come over and he was like, yeah, he's like, that's not a bad quote. He's like, it's a lot. He's like, but it's not a bad quote. He's like, he's probably making like $1,000 off of you just to do it. He's like, it's probably like 500 materials. He goes, but if you want to help me pull the boards up, he's like, I'll do it for you if you can get my printer to work in my surround system. And I was like, you have found the right person. Like we are able to trade in these skills. I can help you with this.
To give you an idea how much it to give you an idea how much it cost, it was $500 for the wood alone.
Yeah, apparently that's what he told me. Apparently lumber is like through the roof right now. Why is lumber so expensive? What happened?
I don't know.
How is this a thing? We have like a bajillion trees. What the fuck? Joe
Biden killing all the trees, apparently.
Yeah, that's what they'll all tell you. Anybody that builds houses is exactly what they'll tell you. But like, it's Joe Biden.
Goddamn Joe Biden killing the trees.
That's exactly what they'll tell you. That's what my neighbor told me. He's like, well, ever since this, I'm like, wait a minute. He has no control over the price of wood.
Not even a little bit.
But yeah, I gave him a surround sound. He has a hearing aid, and even with the aid, he's very hard of hearing. And his wife's so sweet. She goes to not the same church as my wife, but like a similar church, so they kind of run in the same circles. And she told me, she's like, yeah, he just can't hear, and our TV's not loud enough. And I was like, oh, I've got like 4 old surround sound speakers in my closet that I don't use anymore. You just have one. And I hooked it up, but they always get mixed up on like what input it is and all that. And they just got a new TV, and the new TV doesn't have the same hookup as the old one. So I had to go buy an optical cable. Anyway, long story short, the big one is the printer. I hate printers. Notoriously, I cannot stand printers. And he bought this printer. He went to Best Buy. He has to print his invoices. He bought this printer, and he's like, they told me I can print from my phone. And I'm like, well, I'm sure you can. But I'm sure you can't. Like, I'm sure it's possible. I'm sure you can't. Like, and then when I went to go inspect it, and I was actually surprised, he has the exact same printer that I do. The printer in my office bought me, and I was like, oh, I know this printer. Now, here's the thing about this printer. It's a brother printer. There's like an app and a software for every damn piece of this printer. Like, I gotta open up 5 programs to update the firmware on this damn printer. I was like, you definitely cannot print from your phone on this. Like, you can, but you would have a nightmare trying to do it. I was like, so here's what I'm going to do. He doesn't have a computer. I was like, so I'm going to give you a Chromebook. like I'm going to pull one of my Chromebooks out of retirement, and I'm going to get you a printer cable, and we're going to plug it in, and you can print from it. And I set him all up, and I showed him how to open up Gmail, and I put his account on and got hooked up to the internet and got a printer cable. And so I was like, just always, if it ever possible, listeners of PSVG, if whenever possible, just plug into the damn printer. Like, it'll save you a lot of heartache. Just plug it in. It's a lot easier that way.
100. And even sometimes then the shit don't work.
Exactly.
I have a brother printer at my job, and it fucking sucks.
I'm doing that. I actually like my printer. It's pretty good. But Zach Eady goes number 9. Big man to Memphis.
Well,
I like that fit. It's a good fit.
I wasn't sure where he was going to go. To be honest, like, he's one of the only names I really know.
Yeah, because he was a huge star in the tournament, and he's gigantic. He's like, we don't make centers like him anymore. Like, he's got like Shaq Yao type size. Like, he's big.
Yeah.
Right? He's like 7'3" or something. He's huge.
Ooh, that's a big boy.
Yeah, he's big.
He's gigantic.
And he's old school. That's what I mean by that more than anything. He's old school center. You know, big, lumbering, push you out of the paint, box off like 2 or 3 people at a time. He's one of those
he's not
centers.
like a center guard.
Yeah, we don't really have centers like him in the league anymore. You know, it's kind of a dying breed. So I'm interested to see how he takes to the league. I do think I think his size he can just be big. At the very least, he could just stand there and be big for 15 minutes. Yeah. We'll see if he can actually stay on the court, like foot speed wise, and actually be a starter. I don't know about that, but Memphis, they don't need him to do that.
No,
right? They got JJJ, so you know he can just come in and leave him, or they can go toe to toe. You got the Knicks about to trot out 8 damn wings. They're just putting a wing in every position. The Celtics are doing the same thing. I'm wondering if the counter to this is to do what Memphis is doing. Okay, you want to trot out 5, 6, 7 dudes? We're going to get 2 or 3 big dudes and just pound the shit out of you guys. It's not a bad plan. So, JV, welcome back. Yeah, tell us, man, what you up to? What you playing?
I am playing Starfield. I went back. They came out with their mod support, so I was like, I'll jump back in, see what's up. So far, so good. Like, it's not a great game, but it's something that keeps my attention. So, been playing that. I did also play Police Simulator.
Oh wow!
Which is just like not exciting.
I don't know.
Really?
That game.
But it just keeps you in a loop. It's
how's it not exciting? You don't want to play a game you can just beat up black people randomly?
You can't.
That joke was coming.
That's actually why I bought it. I was like, you know what? You Negroes deserve justice. You need it. And I'm gonna
stop resisting.
I'm gonna clean up these streets. Okay, I'm tired of it.
It's just like it literally is just writing parking tickets. I'm assuming at some point you get to a point where you can
sprinkle crack on people.
Stop. Yes. sprinkle crack, make it a homicide. But I haven't gotten there yet. So I have pulled a couple of people over, and I did arrest somebody for being under the influence. So that
that's gonna say for back talking.
Yeah,
for questioning your authority.
No, just like extended my baton.
I wasn't driving that fast. Now you're going to jail. Get the fuck out of the car. Like, what?
It does penalize you if you arrest people, unlawfully. You can actually just arrest anybody. So
it's fiction.
That's how I would play it.
Yeah, make believe.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. No,
I've seen commercials for that. It doesn't surprise me because there are like influencers, streamers, that entire thing is predicated on like they'll play GTA 5 online as cops and they'll just like pull people over and stuff. That's like a whole weird meta thing that's happening out there in GTA 5 online.
Cool.
Where it's like a role playing. They have role playing servers.
Yeah,
it's like my job is liquor store clerk, and it's. I don't get it, but hey,
what are we even coming to anymore? Like, what is happening?
I don't know why.
Seriously, man.
Like, get home from work and be like, you know what I want to do? I just want to drive a taxi. Yeah. Like, you could just do that in real life.
Yeah, you could just go do that and get paid, even.
Yeah,
why not?
Actual money.
Yeah, it's like the lawnmower simulator. I mean, like I did the car detailing simulator. Dev loves the PC building simulator. I get it. I guess.
Let me ask you both a question. Have y'all seen on the PlayStation Store the supermarket simulator? The 2 versions of it?
No. Supermarket simulator? No.
Go look at the PlayStation
You almost
Store.
Got me really excited. Because I got to tell you, as a young kid who sat on the floor and watched people's programs or soaps, man, your boy would get fucking down with some supermarket sweep. If that was a video game, I would be there and I would kick y'all's ass.
Oh, great.
That would be awesome. But there's 2 supermarket simulator games that released in the PlayStation Store this week.
See, people know.
One of them looks generic. The other one has something very interesting about it. And if you're looking it up, JV, you'll notice it when you see it.
Okay, so one of them absolutely looks just very like run of the mill. It's a guy in an apron walking down a produce aisle.
Yes.
So I'm gonna guess that's the normal one.
Correct.
Oh.
What?
Okay.
See, now you got my point.
The other one.
Here for the class.
It's
Is it hentai?
Yeah, it's hentai.
Yeah,
see, you didn't have to ask.
Very close to it.
Like, wait a minute. This is Delvin. Is this a hentai game? Is this
I don't
supermarket,
know
the porn game? I get it.
Their marketing is off the chain. They're like, they got this big-breasted Latina woman.
Yeah, she's just like holding a basket, but the basket is barely visible, and it's just her cleavage, pretty much.
Good stuff.
Yeah, hentai adjacent supermarket.
Yeah.
Dead or Alive, Food Depot edition. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
They're like, we about to sell this game. We about to kick this game's ass.
Wow.
It's amazing that one of those games hasn't, like, for as many of them as they are, that like one hasn't broken out in mainstream. I assume that they do pretty well. Otherwise, we wouldn't have like 4,000 of them on the Steam store, because making games ain't that easy. So I assume there is a market for this. But you would think for all the attempts, like Shinron Kagura, I guess, kinda, but still not like mainstream. Like, it's amazing one hasn't like actually broke through, and had like a viral moment or something.
Yeah, it is kind of amazing that we haven't gotten that yet.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll ever will one day.
Are people still trying to like remake Leisure Suit Larry?
They did do that. That's the thing that happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that came out.
That would be the
you got Chaffee's attention. The only time he's spoken this entire night was now. He heard big-breasted Latina in the supermarket. He's like, wait a second. Let me fire up that PlayStation.
It's absolutely the image to use for my supermarket simulation. Totally represents the gameplay.
Is that it?
Yeah, just pretty much just Starfield. I did try to finally finish Fallout 4 because I've never finished it.
Yeah.
And the game just basically keeps breaking on me, so I've given up.
I'm
like, I'm at the end game.
That's the Fallout experience.
Literally the last probably 2-3 hours of the game. It will
you
not work.
You played Fallout then. You've beaten Fallout. When you get to the point where the game just breaks, that is the end.
Yeah. At this point, that's qualified as an absolute completion. But yeah, that's pretty much been it. Was able to go to LA and spend some time with my family. That's where my daughter is now with her grandparents. So she's hanging out, enjoying herself. And that's pretty much it, man. Just cool. Enjoying the kid-free life. Although if it's a teenage, she's a teenager. Sure. It's pretty much a kid-free life. They don't want anything to do with you
at all. Nope.
So
just your money.
Yeah.
Like they'd take a blank check if you would. That's about it.
Absolutely.
And they don't even want that if it's going to come with any sort of like, give me a hug or anything. They're like, oh, never mind.
Oh yeah. We're firmly out of the hug zone. It's like you get a hug like twice a year, bro.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
well, I did a lot of things. So we talked about last week. We talked about this whole show. I was in this phase, I guess. I was about to make this little thing my whole personality. That's exactly what I've done. So I came off this documentary. I was feeling the itch. I wanted to play all these games, and I did that. I've beaten Half-Life. I also beat Doom 2, Doom 2016. I'm in the midst of beating Doom 64. So like when I try to tell you guys like I had this itch, like this is all I want to do right now. I don't want to do anything else but this. And I think from 64 I may go to Nukem, and I don't know. Maybe then I might play something else. I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of things I should be playing, want to play. Like I would love to play I bought this PlayStation 5. I could play God of War or something. I have Mario, Paper Mario. I have all these things to play, but I don't want to play them. What I want to do is I want to rip and tear. I want to blow shit up. I want to just.
What did you think of Half-Life?
All right, it's two stories. There's me actually playing the game, and then there's like what I thought of the game. Okay.
So
let me separate those. And here's what I mean by this. I played the original. I didn't play Black Mesa. I took Sean's advice and I played the original. The game crashed on me constantly.
That's why Black Mesa exists.
20 times maybe. I mean, constantly. It got to the point where anytime I like made any little bit of progress, I was making manual saves because I don't know what it is. Here's what I do know. In a quick conversation with Sean, a quick Google search, this is a very common thing. Something that I kind of wish games had a way, especially like Steam, because it seems like a Steam thing. It's not like a console problem. It'd be nice if there was like a way of warning people of this before you start playing something. Beyond like a Steam review, like there might be like a known problems, like little bubble you could click on or something. Because this is a frequent thing. If you just Google, why does Half-Life keep crashing on me? You get 1,000 Reddits and stuff. Like it's a thing.
Let me ask you. You played it on your like just regular on your regular computer, right?
Yeah.
Because the Steam Deck tells you like, oh, this might be crashing.
Well, that's a separate thing. Steam Deck has its little rating system, but even that is a miss because there's tons of there's tons of examples of people in Steam Deck that are like, this game says it's totally supported on Steam Deck and it's completely busted, and vice versa. There's tons of examples where it's like, this game is a service on Steam Deck, and you boot it up and it plays just fine. That system itself is kind of fucked.
They got to fix the system.
Right. Yeah, it's not there. It's a good cause, and I'm sure a lot of newer games play well with that system very well. But if you're going back compat and stuff, that system is very, very sketch. But it seems to be, I'm not sure if it's like the speed that I was running the game at or like the memory, but it would seem to be every time. So the game will like pause briefly, momentarily to like save and to load in like the next area. Because you'll be running and like a quick pause and then you just keep running, right? It was during those moments it would crash. It didn't always, but when it did, it was always during those moments. So the game goes to autosave and it would crash. Game goes to auto load in the next room and it would crash. And like it did it at least 20 or 30 times. But I'm no quitter, right? And I was also enjoying what I was doing. And I was like, you know what? I'm in for it. Because it didn't really start happening until like 2 or 3 hours in the game. There was a moment I was like, all right, do I pull the plug now and just go play Black Mesa and catch up? Or do I just keep going? And I made a decision to just keep going. And, you just get to the point where you've gone too far. Like, you got to keep going. So I just kept going. And I got my way through. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't even all that frustrating. Like, there were a couple times I lost a little bit of progress, but never more than like 10 minutes, which isn't that big of a deal. Right? If I play a game, like, you remember when I lost my Metal Gear save? I was like 6 hours in a Metal Gear Solid. My entire save got wiped. I was like, dude, fuck that. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, that's different than losing like a few.
Yeah, exactly. So I kept playing and I did beat it. So that was aside, like my experience playing this old game aside, what do I think of the game? I think it's amazing, actually. I'm hard pressed to say, like, I don't know how much my experience playing it now is equal to the experience of people that played it in like whenever this game came out. I don't know, 92, 95, whatever. Because I'm sure, even though I'm playing the original version, I'm sure the textures are filtered. They may be up-resed. I don't know how much of that is the same. I was surprised to see how fast the game played. I don't know if that's original or not. It played a lot faster than I expected a game of its era to play. Like, if you put this next to GoldenEye, this thing is like, lightning speed next to GoldenEye. Like, it's way faster. Which,
from what I remember, that sounds right.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Because it made me wonder, like, forgive me for not knowing these things, because I said I didn't grow up with these things. Is this where, like, is this where Counter-Strike comes from? Does it come from Half-Life?
Yeah, I think indirectly it does. I think it might have been a Half-Life mod.
Like a same engine thing or something? Because, like, I've dabbled with that a little bit over the years, and, like, I feel like there's a lot of DNA there that's shared.
Yeah, I feel like it was a mod at some point that became its own thing.
As I was playing it, I was like, this feels like why people maybe like Counter-Strike, maybe a little bit. And as I kept playing, you know, not to steal all of Sean's thunder, but I mean, I would just kind of agree with a lot of what Sean said. It's not difficult, but like I'm of two minds here, because I'm experiencing it so far out of its time. So I'm like kind of comparing it against the things that I played at the time. And if I'm comparing it against my experience, so here's little Donnie playing on my N64 years after the N64 was even a thing, like when people have already moved on to like PS2 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I find these games that I really like. I find Doom 64, which I love, and I find Turok, which I love and we've talked about forever, and GoldenEye, which I like. I don't love GoldenEye like everybody. I mean, I do love GoldenEye, but I don't feel like I love GoldenEye like people love GoldenEye. You know, I wasn't like one of those people. But I find all these shooters, Duke Nukem, that I love of the time. And if I'm comparing Half-Life to those games, Half-Life blows those games out of the water. Like what Turok is to Half-Life is, I would have been a snobby person too. Like if I had a PC, I'd be like, this shit is trash, man. What are you talking about? Do you see this? What are you talking about, these C buttons and strafing? Are you crazy? Because it was just so, I was not expecting, like I said, the speed of the game to be as fast as it was. I wasn't expecting the world to be as interactive as it is. As Sean talked about, you can talk to everybody. There's lots of puzzles. There's lots of switches. Like there's a lot of stuff there. I also wasn't expecting the game to be like as full. I think
that's a good
as
word
big as it is. It's very grand. Like you go from fighting in like these very like GoldenEye Doom-esque, you know, like science labs, and you're like, okay, like I've done this before. You know, what's the big hoopla about this? And then like you go outside and you fight this helicopter and you scale this mountain like on this really tiny little walkway that like if you screw up you'll just fall to your death. That is like gigantic design of the time. Like there was nothing like that. And I felt like at that moment I was like, this is like I'm into the game. It's like halfway there. Like then like you just keep going and you fight all the people on the surface and you end up going to fucking Zen and you're fighting like, holy shit, you guys. Like it's a whole thing. It's a whole experience.
It's incredible. So, I remember playing it when it came out, and I don't think I had a PC, but I think one of my good friends did, and he got it. And I think the first thing I really remember saying is like, oh, this is different. Like it was one of those times I think where I felt like somebody had made a jump that the rest of the industry hadn't made. Yeah. And it was really clear because it feels when you're playing it's not only like the pace that you're playing it at, right? The quickness of the action. It just, when you said it feels grand, that's exactly how it feels. It feels cinematic. Like it feels like you are playing something that you've just never played.
I didn't experience playing games like this at least until GameCube, if not after.
Makes sense.
You know, and here these PC players were playing it like it feels like a decade ahead of any time I ever saw anything like that as like just a console gamer of the time.
Yeah.
You know, and then you see the story and the characters and like the dialogue and like how they're kind of like using this guy as a pawn, and then you know the enemy forces and how they just start shooting everybody else, and you're fighting the tanks, you know, and like it's very big and grand. Like I don't want to say like Call of Duty grand, but like for the time, like that had to be
very granular. Yeah.
just like, far reaching, and then like you get to Zen, you're like fucking alien, and like the puzzles I actually adored. Because there were times where I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing. Like all these teleporting puzzles and stuff. And like, these are things that I feel like I'm pretty good at. I've done a ton of this stuff in Doom and Quake and a bunch of other shooters. And like, they like the spinny puzzles where you've got to jump and like, there's all the ass over. Like it was challenging. Even for me today, I've played all the games. I was like, I died a few times, like just doing those things more than anything else, just jumping in the wrong place. Like shit. And I die and have to do it again and try to figure it out. That had to be mind-blowing to somebody at the time. At the time, I imagine that these sorts of things that I'm trying to describe, that maybe if you've never played it, sound like things that aren't that amazing. I imagine for most people, this was the first time they've ever experienced any of it. And then to have all of that in one thing. Not to get a piece of it like in one game and another piece, to literally have this one game give you multiple experiences that you've experienced for the first time ever.
Yeah, that's exactly how it felt. It was novel. Like it was just novel.
Exactly.
Out of the box. Yeah. You were like, oh, this is different. This feels like this feels like a more mature video game, not just in the subject matter, but everything about it is like, okay, we've taken everything we loved about video games and now we're gonna put it all in this game in a way that most people hadn't. So like I remember games coming out at that time kind of edging toward like what we're familiar with now, but that's one game that like absolutely felt next gen. So I'm not surprised that you feel that now playing it. That's just a tribute to Valve. That's why everybody's begging for more Half-Life.
Sure.
All these decades later.
Well, let me ask you this, Donnie. I think this is the $1 million question. Are you going to play the orange box?
I mean, I played the orange box when it was on 360. Team Fortress, Portal and Half-Life, right?
Yeah, Half-Life episode 1, I think it is.
So Half-Life you mean, am I going to play the other Half-Life stuff?
Yes.
I want to. I don't really know where to start. Like, I want to play, is it Opposing Forces? I want to play the other side. They did like the flip of the coin thing. I want to do that for sure. But I don't know what's like essential reading. Do I need to play all of it? Or can I just pick like one or two things? Like, I don't necessarily want to play Half-Life again. So like, I want to play Black Mesa, but like I need some time. Like I just beat it. So I want to give it some time. And I definitely want to come back to the remake or the fan make or whatever it is. I want to try that one day. But I want to play Opposing Forces. But the other things I don't understand. Like, I don't understand, like, what's a spinoff, what's a sequel, what's essential, what's optional. I need, like, a Sherpa. I need a guide. I need somebody to tell me what I need to play. Because I said I'm playing all these retro shooters and stuff. Because I'm in, like I said, I know I've said it, and I don't necessarily know if people really understand it. I'm so far fucking down the rabbit hole. I'm watching retrospectives. I'm reading books. I've bought books. I just bought Doom Guy. I'm listening to Masters of Doom on YouTube. I found an audiobook that's free. I bought Doom Guy, which anybody doesn't know is the John Romero autobiography. I bought something else with the book too, but I'm going to save that until I get it so I can show it to you guys before just telling you about it. Like, I'm deep. Like, when I say it's all I want to do right now, this is all I'm doing right now.
You're fully invested.
That's great now.
And it's really great because I have a lot of this stuff and I've played them before. Like for Doom and like Nukem and Turok, these are things I've always liked. Mostly the older stuff, but like I've always liked these. My introduction to Doom was Doom 64. I do not know how many people that's true for. I imagine not many. I never had Doom on Super Nintendo. I never knew Doom before Doom 64. Doom 64 is it is a very different experience than Doom. It's Doom, but it's not Doom. If you understand what I mean, you get that. If you don't understand, you're like, Donnie, what the fuck are you talking about? Doom 64 is like super puzzly. All kinds of hidden rooms and locked areas and like, teleports and buttons and switches. I would say Metroidvania, but that's not. It's just a puzzle game. Doom 64 is more like
run and gun.
Yeah, Doom 64 is more like Portal than Doom. Does that make sense? Is that like it's very like there are times in Doom 64 where I'm running around for 5 or 10 minutes trying to figure out either secrets or where key cards are and not shoot anything because I've either killed everybody or there's just nothing there. You know, like you never do that in like Doom. Like OG original Doom, that's not a thing. You're just shooting everything that moves until nothing else moves and then you win. So Doom 64 is very different. But that was my introduction to Doom. And I like both. I'm not like this one's better and that one's not. Like I'm here for all of it. Like I like both. Sometimes I like a good puzzle-y thing and sometimes I don't. I also beat Sigil, which I talked about on last week's show. Sigil is John Romero's fifth like story chapter to the original Doom. Like it's kind of like an add-on that you can like if you have Doom, if you've bought one of the Doom remasters that came out years ago, I say years ago, like in the past 5 or 6 years that came out. If you go into it and you open up mods, there's like an add-ons tab. You can just install Sigil. You don't have to pay for it. It's just there and you can play it. And I adored it. It's pretty hard. It's pretty tough. But you have difficulty options. I did have to lower it down to regular by the end because it just kind of gets crazy. But episode 5 of Sigil may be my favorite Doom map ever. It's super like horror. It's almost like a level from Dusk. It's super horror themed, lots of hidden places, super fun. But episodes 3, 4, and 5, they're great. You should play them just for that. You should just download Sigil, play episodes 3, 4, and 5. They're excellent stuff. So, yeah, man. Long story short, that's what I'm doing. Like I think I had like a dream about Doom at some point in the past week. Like I woke up
crazy dreams.
Like I'm so in, man. Like like it's all I'm doing right now. So I played Half-Life, I played a bunch of Dooms. I think I'm gonna play Duke Nukem, and then I'm gonna play Chex Quest, and I'm gonna play Sin. It's like there's a few other things I want to do before I play like more Half-Life. Like I didn't beat Half-Life and go, give me more.
Right.
I want to play some other things that I've had on the back burner here. But I installed Sin, I installed Chex Quest. I watched there's a little retrospective on YouTube for Chex Quest, so watch that. So I'm listening to the autobiography on my way to work. And so like when I'm in my car, I'm listening to John Romero. And he does the voice too. He does his own voice for his own book, so you can actually listen to him tell you
that's great.
his story, which I really appreciate. It's not like just some third party you don't know. You know, it's in his voice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So cool. I was trying to get Jack into it. Jack's never really liked Doom. He still doesn't. He thinks 2016 is too hard. It is a tough game. It's not like Doom Eternal hard, but you know, they're both tough. Eternal is really tough. Eternal's really hard. Yes. But I was trying to get him in on Switch, you know, like if anybody's never played these games, which I don't know, like I feel weird talking about these games because these are iconic, like, you know, woven into the fabric. This is like Rushmore of game stuff, you know, but I like on Switch, I don't know how many people have played these things. I don't know how many people bought Doom 64, you know, or I don't know how many people know that Doom 64 is very different. Like, you know, Doom 64 is an exclusive to the Nintendo 64. I don't think a lot of people played that game. You know, I think a lot of people for a long time thought it was just Doom. It's not. It's a completely different game. You know, Doom 2016 is a sequel to 64. You know, it's not a reboot of the original. It's a sequel to 64, like in kayfabe, in story-wise, for the Doomslayer.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you've never played these things on the Switch OLED, they are so fucking good. With gyro and like the pixel perfect, and they're so crisp and they're so vibrant. They're so nice. They're so cheap. You can regularly get the Quake game or Quake Remastered 1 or 2 or Doom 1 through 3 or the like for like $2 or $3 each. Almost every other week they're on sale.
Yeah, that's worth it. You
should have all of them just so you have some pick up and play shooting goodness at any moment. You know, I've always liked playing these things. That's why I like Gears and stuff like that. You know, sometimes I'm just in the mood. I feel like if I didn't podcast like we do, I feel like I would play a lot of these all the time. This is just like comfort food for me. It's like a happy place. It's like these sorts of games, Zelda and like Resident Evil sort of games. These are and football, like college football. Those games, if I didn't have a podcast, I'd just play those. Like it would just be those games. I would just play these things and like a golf game every now and again. That'd be it. But because we do the podcast and because I want to have something new to say, you know, week to week and be able to talk about that and play everything and try to bring my views to the popular topics of gaming. Like I felt like for a few years I've kind of denied those urges to just stop everything and just play what I want to play. You know, I did this last year with horror movies. You know, for the last 5 or 6, 7 years, we've done Decade of Horror, where I watch all these horror movies and we come talk about it. And every year it's the latest horror movie. Every year it's the horror movies of that year. Well, I did that for like 5 or 6 years. And then last year, for anybody that listens to the show will know that like, I was like, I don't want to watch any of these things. Like I just got into, I was like, you know what I want to watch? All of the horror movies that I love watching from like the 80s and the 70s. And then and I just did that instead. Absolutely. I watched like 10 new ones, but I watched like 50 old ones. And I feel like that's exactly the same energy that I'm in right now. It's like, yeah, I'm glad that there's awesome games right now. And I want to play Still Wakes the Deep and shit one day. But like right now, you know what I'm doing? I'm playing exactly what I want to play. And hopefully
that's when you're having the most fun.
Yeah, and it's like exactly like I don't want to say I have a hard time beating games because I think I probably beat I have more time to play games than most people wish. So I understand that people are like, man, Donnie, I wish I could play as much as you do. But like this week I plowed through games. That's all I've done. Like in every waking moment I've just been doing this. You know, and it's been a minute since I've done that and it felt really good to do it. I just went from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And I really enjoyed it. I really dug it. And I want to keep that feeling going until it burns out. So that's what I'm doing. I'm having fun. I'm watching those documentaries. I'm listening to the books. I'm reading the books, buying the things. I got to spruce up my Doom shelf. I've got the limited run games. I have the Doomslayer collection. I have a helmet. I have my steelbook. But I was like, I have stuff, like it's cool stuff, but like I needed something. I needed something special. It's like I need something like really set this off. You know, like for Gears, I have like a Lancer. I have 2 Lancers. Right. You know, like I needed something awesome.
Do you don't have a BFG?
I don't have a BFG, and I don't have a place for one either. Like to be quite honest, like I'm stuck. I have 2 cubbies that are kind of like dedicated to Doom that have stuff in them. And they were both like kind of, I would say half full. They were just kind of sparse. And I was like, I need to fill these up. So I got Drummer Romero's book and I got a new item. And I got a Funko. I got a Doomslayer Funko to go in there. And yeah. Oh, I picked up one thing I never had that I picked up because they're so cheap. I picked up a copy of Doom 3 from Xbox 360.
Oh, that's great.
Doom 3 is probably my least favorite Doom. I still like it.
It was really divisive when it came out.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm kind of wanting to replay now. Because at the time I was like, it didn't really do a whole lot for me back then. When it came out again, I got it and played it and enjoyed it, you know, liked it, but I don't recall finishing it at the time. It's just a lot slower. You know, it's like a different thing. It's like Dead Space.
Yeah. It's more horror.
Yeah. Which I do like. Again, I like it. I don't not like it. Don't take that the wrong way. It's just not the same thing, right? It doesn't scratch the same itch. It's a different itch.
It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't really.
Yeah. Yeah. But I never owned it. Like physically. And it has like a steel book and everything, and you can pick these things up on eBay for like $6-7. And I was like, that's some cheap fodder to throw in the cubby, because I have I bought the Doomslayer collection from Limited Run. I bought the 64 collection from Limited Run. So I've got like some cool little knickknacks. I got like a little N64 cartridge and a little floppy disk and stuff. But I got that and I got something else. And I said, I don't need to tease you guys, but it's cool. It's autographed and I want to wait until I can show it to you. I gotta wait for it to come. It's on the way from Ireland. I gotta wait for it to get here before I can show it to you guys.
Okay.
But when I do, hopefully you guys will like it. And I'll add that to the shelf. But yeah, anyway, long. I kind of feel like I've been talking way too long.
No, I love the passion. I love the passion because you're like in that state where you're like,
yeah, I really am.
I'm playing all the things I love, and that's such a fun place to be.
I got them on
just playing everything. You're playing.
I got them on my laptop at work. So when I'm at work on my lunch break, I'm playing to them. Like it's when I tell you it's like all I'm doing. It's like I wake up, I eat lunch, I come home. It's like it literally is all I'm doing right now. All weekend. That's all I did this weekend was play Dune 2016, which was just that game was incredible. Anyway, let's get on with the news, or the show's gonna be forever long.
No, I'll handle the first news story.
Okay, please.
Because I this one matters to me. So, first up, Capcom has announced a remake of the original Dead Rising. Officially dubbed Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, shows off a brand new look for Frank West and is set to land on PS5, Xbox, and PC later this year. So, are either of you Dead Rising fans? Because I'm a big Dead Rising fan.
Yeah, absolutely. The big 360 energy, man. 100%.
Yes. One of the reasons why I had Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the the key titles for Xbox 360 to me.
Yes.
So I just saw the trailer. I just saw the trailer before the show. It looks good. I'm interested to see what they do because I know what was the last one they did that
4.
It was 4, right? And it was kind of almost like a remake of 1.
It's like a reboot. Yeah.
It
was a back to basics for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays. I will probably buy this one like almost assuredly.
I'm definitely buying it. Yeah.
I'm gonna get it, but I'm gonna tell you, I don't think I'm day one on it. Like I'm my hype meter's pretty low. Not because I'm not excited for it. Like I want to get it. It's just like I'm not in the mood. It feels very current because we got Dead Rising 3 on Xbox One. We got 4, and then they remastered the originals. We have remaster of 1, remaster of 2, and the DLC. And you can frequently pick up like that triple pack for like $10. These things are super cheap. I think they're on all the services. There's just so much Dead Rising, like good Dead Rising available, like a reboot. And this is like I put it in I called it a remake. It's a remake. They're calling it a remaster. Yeah. They've rebuilt the game. Like the environment's brand new, the character models are brand new. Like it's a remake. It's visually a remake. It's the same game, but it's visually a remake. I wanted something new. Like a new game would have gotten me excited. I think more. I think I'd been more excited if it was like Dead Rising 5, bitches. Like I'd been like, oh shit, let's go. But just to go back, like, no, I'm not opposed, and I love remakes. You know that, but I love remakes, so I'm gonna get it. But like, I don't have the urge to like, I have to buy it and play it right away because it's like I've been there and done that so many times.
Maybe they do the Resident Evil thing. Like, hey, this first one is the quote unquote remaster remake, and then they do the second one, but it's just a straight up remake of this second one, like from the ground up.
I'm really surprised that this didn't come out anywhere in any showcases last week.
Yeah, that is surprising.
Anybody else? Like, it's kind of bizarre that they just sitting on this the whole thing, and we get past the directed anything, and they're like, and the thing. What?
Yeah,
what?
This is kind of big news. I don't see why this is like, hey, let's just throw this in the corner.
Yeah, to kind of just throw it out on a Wednesday and just say like, hey guys, this is
with a little teaser trailer and everything. Even itself, it's just like not even like a full, like a full demo or anything.
Maybe they don't have.
Maybe there's still a little. Maybe there's still a little, kind of shaken by the reaction to 4, and everybody not necessarily loving it and saying, hey, we're going to tentatively like put our toe in the water and see what people think.
I was just I think this might be a way of gauging interest in the franchise. Like, wonder if they're thinking about, should we do a Dead Rising game again? And they're like, I don't know. Let's do a remake and see if people care. See if people want to buy it.
Work for Resident Evil.
Yeah, but that's a whole different.
Yeah, but I think Resident Evil has like
these are not the same things. Don't.
Yeah, it's not,
it has a more even reputation as far as like game to game. Where I think Dead Rising could benefit from just having a new game.
Yes.
Like I know there's been some titles that haven't been well received, but it's been so long like since we've seen a new protagonist in a new area.
Exactly.
Like, why not just do it? I actually think people would be more apt to be excited for that than just a remake. But
I agree.
Well, I guess we'll see.
What do you think of the character model? Frank West looks different, dude.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just me. I brought up in the Discord. Nobody seemed to agree with me. He reminds me so much of James Woods. Like the character model, it's like it's all I see is like James Wood with like a leather jacket, a pop collar. I'm like, he is giving off like debaucherous, like Vegas bookie energy.
Well, that kind of fits Frank West's character.
Yeah, I know. It's just like the original Frank West. I always thought of being like Bruce Campbell.
Yes,
and it's like this is like a almost a jarring departure from in my mind's eye of what he's supposed to be. But I will pick it up. The great thing with these games typically go on sale pretty fast, pretty quickly. And I imagine that this would be for me, this is a budget thing. Like Black Friday, squarely in the crosshairs for picking up Dead Rising. I assume it comes out before then. I don't know. But if it comes out, if I can pick this thing up for $30-$40, I'm all in. But like 60 day one, I got a lot of day one games this fall. Like it's just a little bit down the pecking order for me.
Yeah, 60 seems a little bit high,
and I say that as a person just bought the damn Donkey Kong game for $60. The remaster. It's like the port of the port of the port.
Yes. I'm all in. I'm excited.
Nice.
Let's go. All right, let's continue with this Capcom news. The original version of Resident Evil is now available to purchase on GOG, with even more blood, graphic violence, and gory scenes than the worldwide monster hit version on PlayStation. So this is the PC. This is the other version. The PC release is fully compatible with Windows 10 and Windows 11, and promises new rendering and modern controller options as well as quality of life improvements. So essentially, this is the Japanese version of Resident Evil just coming out on PC with some quality of life changes, essentially.
Okay. I think, people will buy it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So, as long as they keep putting these out and putting new wrinkles in them, I think they'll continue to have success.
So I'm assuming they're going to make it so that the tank controls is not as bad as they were in the first one. In the original version of it. Yeah.
Maybe. That's a thing they could change. Or I sometimes I go back and forth on that, and I'm like, well, that's sort of what makes the game the game. It's like such a crucial part of it that I'm not sure that they should mess with it too much. I guess you do want, quality of life and to be able to play the game more effectively, but part of it is that look and that feel. So
I gotta tell you, I played a game. The one game I tried to play this week was like a Resident Evil clone, and I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the name of it, and it has the tank controls. And as soon as I started playing with the tank control, like, nope, I don't want to do this. This fucking
we're not going back.
Like I don't want to do this. Like I'm playing like, oh, this feels off, and this feels like really off, and I just can't do it. Like, so I don't know, man.
Maybe it just won't work in a new game, but I think like those tank controls they're just a part of the original Resident Evil in a way that I don't know. It's just kind of fundamental to it. But if they did change it, cool. But playing it in a new game, that's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough, man.
Yeah, I gotta remember the name of the game, but I played it. I bought it because it has a cool style to it. And I'm like, oh, this looks pretty cool. And it has that Resident Evil like tank control thing. And I'm like, ooh, I don't like this. And I know it did. It's called The Glass Staircase. That's the name of the game. It's a survival horror game that's in the vein of like the old Resident Evil game. And looks really cool, but I started playing it, and as soon as I got to those tank controls, which I knew were coming because it's based off the Resident Evil games, like, ooh, I don't know if I can go back to these tank controls again like this.
You have to embrace it.
Yeah. Just got to get... the game looks cool. But I'm like, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
It's crazy. Like, if you fast-tracked 25 years ago and you give me that controller, that would come so second nature to me. I played every one of those games. You know, like, to me, that's how it was. But, yeah, you're right. When you go back, it's jarring. You start running the wrong direction and turn the wrong way. You're like, what in the hell?
Yes.
Like, you have to acclimate. You have to accept, you know, the difference. You have to be like, this is how it is. I feel that way. I played, was it not last year. When did the Resident Evil 4 remake come out? Was it last year?
No, 4 remake was
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Was it 2 years now?
I think
Yeah.
I think 2
Anyway, whenever that game came out, I thought it was last year, but now I'm wondering if it's longer than that. The year before that, I played Resident Evil 4 on Switch, and it's like, you know, like the Wii tank controls, like you stop, aim, shoot.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, keep running, stop, aim, shoot. You know, I'm like, I had to get used to that as well. I was like, oh man, I just gotta bite the bullet. And if you really dig into it, I always feel like if you give it a couple hours, you'll get really used to it. Like you'll just fall back in line, but you've got to get over like there's like that 20-minute period where you feel like everything you're doing is wrong.
Yeah. March 2023 is when it came.
Yes, it was last year. So it was been the year before that, 2022. I think we're around when like I always do, like I am now. Doom: The Dark Ages gets announced. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go play some Doom. You know, they announced Resident Evil 4, and I was like, let's go play Resident Evil 4. So, marketing. The power of marketing.
It works.
It does work. I had a lot of people that were just like, I want to go play, you know, XYZ. Something gets shown, and like, I want to play it. I want to beat the last one or catch up where I left off. And we're all just slaves to our backlog.
Pretty much.
That's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of being a slave to your backlog, Horizon 4 is to be delisted and removed from Xbox Game Pass. Get out of here. They're kicking it off. It's gone. Goodbye.
Yep.
Playground Games have confirmed it will delist Forza 4, Horizon 4, and remove it from the Game Pass in December due to licensing issues. So if you played Forza Horizon 4 via Xbox Game Pass and bought any of the DLC packs for it, you will be eligible to receive a game token for Forza Horizon 4 if you have an active, full paid, not discounted Xbox Game Pass subscription on 6/25. So if you still have your Game Pass for it.
And it's interesting they called it a token. That really confused me at first. Yeah, like, you'll receive a game token. I was like, what the fuck's a game token? Like, what is that? Just say a copy of the game. Like, we're gonna give you the game. Like, just
that makes it a lot lot clear because I was thinking the same thing.
Like, the hell is a game token? What is this, Chuck E. Cheese? But yeah, I am one of those people, especially when Game Pass came around. I got really used to, and this applies forward too, because Call of Duty is the same way. When Game Pass really got entrenched, you got used to, well, I get the game for Game Pass, so I'll buy the DLC expansion at a discount, and I'll get to play early and all that. And then there comes a question. I was like, okay, well, what happens if they leave Game Pass? Now you've bought this DLC for a game you don't own anymore. So this is good that they're doing this. I do want to point this out. While I appreciate them being like, we're just going to give you the game, that's cool. I feel like also like that's the least you can do is you delist the game.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about optically, right? Perspective. Sarah Bond like 3 months ago was like, we're building a game preservation team. Like this is an initiative of ours. We're going to make sure that all of our games, and I think the quote was not only backwards compatible, but forwards compatible. And then like weeks after the announcement, they're like, and we're delisting Forza Horizon. It's like, these things don't match. And I understand why they don't. And I understand licensing. and cars and brands and music. I get it. You got to make that message make more sense is the only point I'm trying to make.
Yes.
Those messages are at odds with each other. And you got to be a way. I feel like there needs to be a way to account for that. Yeah,
I agree. I think I understand it. Like you said, fundamentally, right? You have a license that runs out. It costs a lot of money to renew these things. I think it's important, though, that they make distinctions and help people to understand why something is going to be delisted rather than preserved. And I think the other thing that they're probably going to eventually have to do is, well, some of these games you are going to preserve and you are going to continue to pay the license. Why are you continuing to pay the license on that particular thing and not the thing that I like? And that might be something that they eventually have to address if it comes down to it. But I'd also be interested to hear their take on, which games they feel like, hey, we're going to continue to pay licensing or try to get a deal done with these companies to keep those items in the game because we want to preserve them. And what games they're like, we can let this go by the wayside.
Part of me wants to say that. Like I think it's the part like the removal of from Game Pass that bothers me. I think legally maybe there's something there that like a license holder might see that as a sale. Like if somebody buys Game Pass, that counts as a sale, in some way. But it's like all first party stuff should stay in Game Pass. Like, you're handing out tokens for the games. How about you hand out a token for a game and just leave it in Game Pass? We're delisting it from the store. No new purchases can be made. But if you want to play it, it'll always be available in Game Pass. Maybe the DLC won't and services like that's an whole other thing. But I just feel like the messaging, like especially when they market Forza, like we've gotten very conditioned and used to it. This is not new for Forza. Forza constantly gets delisted. But I feel like just to make their messaging on game preservation not be able to be used against them like hypocritically, it might be nice to like, I don't know, address this sort of thing on the front end and maybe just like take the teeth out of it. Be like, hey, Forza's got music and we don't own Mercedes, the brand. So, these games will always be delisted. And I would almost turn it into marketing. If you want this DLC and you want to keep it forever, you need to buy it,
Yeah.
And if you buy the DLC on Game Pass, we will always give you a token if the game is delisted. Like, sort of those sort of commitments, I think would go a long way to their we believe in game preservation marketing talks. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. There's almost no reason for them not to do that. If this is what they're doing with Horizon 4, right? You're going to give them a token anyway. So might as well roll that into your marketing and encourage people to buy these games or say, hey, you could still be cool buying DLC. We're going to.
If you're a Game Pass member, if you buy the early adoption expansion, whatever the fuck they call it, if you buy the season thing, and I would put that in the marketing term. If you buy this and you're a Game Pass subscriber, when this game eventually gets delisted, you will receive a token for the game.
Yes.
It's a nice commitment. It's a nice commitment to make.
Always have the game.
It's just it's a warm and fuzzy. Gamers like warm and fuzzy things.
Yes.
They want to be taken care of. You know what we don't like? Taking games away, delisting games, firing people to make games, and closing studios to make games. I don't like any of that. So the least you can do that to make everybody feel better. People like buying stuff like that.
To be fair, PlayStation just tell you fuck off. Well, the game's going away. Fuck off.
They wouldn't even tell you. You just wake up, the game's gone.
Just pull off your hard drive.
Exactly, I was going to say, but I installed it. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
You think you did.
What game?
What game?
Where's my goddamn money, PlayStation?
Remember PT? Never heard of it.
No.
Nope. Doesn't exist.
PT Cruiser?
Yeah.
Good car. Yeah, that's PlayStation.
The Heat drafted Khalil Ware.
Don't know who that is.
It's like some power forward. I honestly don't know much about him either.
Hopefully he's good.
I mean, he is named after Superman.
Yeah.
Close enough.
So.
All right. Our next story, which is a surprise to no one except maybe D-Life. Premium game ports to iOS/mobile have completely tanked. So, do we need to go down these numbers? Because they are bleak.
Yeah. Apparently, Mirage. So Mirage has like a trial. You can just play it for free for a little bit, and then you have to buy it. So Mirage, which they market around like the new iPhone chip and all that, and the iPad, has been downloaded 123,000 times, which really isn't that lot for a free download. That's not that many.
No.
But they've only converted about 3,000 of those people to actually buy the game.
All of them D-Life.
So that is like, is that even 1%?
No.
That is bleak. Yeah.
That is abysmal.
You got 120,000 people to press the button, only 3,000 of them to give you any money. Oof.
Yeah, that's not the type of numbers you want.
No.
Resident Evil 4 sold 7,000. Village sold 5,700, and Death Stranding apparently came in around 10,000 copies sold.
That's a hit.
Yeah, by those standards.
I put this in here not to dunk on mobile gaming, but I think it's important, especially with all the business talk that we cover that is like in game news right now. Mobile is seen as like this bastion of infinite wealth, this growth that everybody's seeking. If we can only get the mobile gamers, right? Everybody's got a phone. There's 1 billion people. This just goes to show. I'm good. Don't worry about it. Yeah, people play games on their phone, but do they buy games on their phone? Those are different. Those are apparently very different things. People are not.
Yeah.
Most people on phones are not open to paying a premium game price. That is that is a conditioned customer base in the console market. Like only people that buy consoles, think games cost $70. Only us.
Yeah.
PC console game. We're the only people that are like, yeah, that's how much games cost. And even if it's a mobile thing or anything else, they're like, what? $70 for a game? That's not a thing that they do.
Yeah, because if you have a phone, you've been trained to be like, oh, the most the game will be is like
free.
$10.
Free.
And most of them are free with ads. So
watch this ad.
Why am I paying
$70? You can imagine people are like, $70? What? $50? I'm not giving you $50. And one of the analysts wrote a little blurb that I thought was pretty good. They're like, yeah, if people, you're assuming that people that are playing these games on their phone, this is not always the case, but generally the case is you're trying to reach a new customer. They don't have a console. So if these people don't have a console, why would you think they're going to spend $50 on a game? This goes back to like the Stadia thing, like how the business model, that's like the subscription service versus the premium. Like the past doesn't asking people to pay $50 to stream a game or to have access to a game or anything. That doesn't make any sense in a mobile blue ocean strategy. In a blue ocean strategy, you need to be Netflix. $7.99 and you get everything here. That sells. Yeah. It's easy to get behind. $50 to play Assassin's Creed on your phone. A lot of people are like, I don't know about if I need to do all that.
Especially if you don't have a console. I mean, if you don't have a console or you don't have a PC that you play games on, what's the appeal for you? Why would you now say, oh, well, it's on my iPad. Now I want to play this thing that I had no interest in playing. Like the assumption is that they're going to get more people, but the only people that are even going to consider buying it probably have consoles and PCs, and they're not going to consider buying it.
And so, or at least not until the price comes way down,
right?
To be in line with what mobile game prices are. So yeah, it's just a nice little snapshot into like the business of gaming in different ecosystems. If you were wondering, like, oh man, Apple announced that RE Village is coming to iPad. They're going to make a killing. Not so much.
So I was curious. I looked at the price of Death Stranding on iPhone. It's $20. So that is probably
that's why it's 10,000. That's where the copies come from.
Exactly. That's where the copies are coming from. That's the price of it. That's the price it came out at, and people are way more willing to try it at $20 as opposed to $60, which was the Resident Evil games.
This is something I actually worry about. Not to lose sleep over anything, but like as an actual concern to me as somebody who loves these projects and these big things that we buy and all that. Like my son, I was talking to him today. He's playing Sea of the Thieves with his friend. He told me, he's like, yeah, my friend just bought an Xbox. His friend got an Xbox because Call of Duty coming to Game Pass. He's got an Xbox. This is a kid. I don't even know this kid. It's just some kid in his middle school. He's like, yeah. So they're asking about like what games to play, and I'm asking what kind of games you're into. He's like, I like Zelda. I'm like, you should play Phoenix Rising, and I like this. You should play that. And he goes, yeah. And so I asked him today. I was like, hey, did your friend play any of those games? He goes, no, he just downloaded Fortnite.
Yeah.
You know, like from my son's perspective, all of these things are too expensive, too costly, and just not as good as Fortnite. And I joke with him often that like Fortnite should just come out with its own console. Like it's just here's a box, you plug it in your TV and it plays Fortnite. And it connects to the server and it plays Fortnite, and like you get all the games from like, and I'm not too sure that that's not that far away. You know, it's like why just cut out the middleman? Just go direct to consumer. Here's Fortnite. You want to play Rock Band? We got an attachment for that. You want to play Rocket League Racing or Lego or whatever else we put in Fortnite? Like you wonder if like they're growing, you know, because like how much of a sell would that be to somebody 15 years old right now versus a console?
That would be a pretty easy sell for
like if they just gave you some Android or iOS box, you know, like some little mini PC. It's $100. It's $200. It's an Apple TV. It's $170. It's $169. It has Fortnite. It plays Fortnite the best it could possibly play. It's been entirely created for just this experience.
Yeah, do it like the Sega Mini system. Just here's the system. You can buy at Walgreens, Walmart, any store.
Why wouldn't you just buy that instead of, you know, here's our PlayStation 5. It's $500 and the games are $70 each, and you got to pay online service and you got to pay, you know, like. I don't know. Part of me feels like we're going the way of the dodo bird here.
Yeah.
Well, this is every industry now, right? This is you know, movies. This is television. The way that Gen Z consumes things and what they consume, and you know what they're willing to spend their money. They're just they're not kind of immersed in it. I know London, my daughter. She plays Cult of the Lamb. There's some things that she plays, but we had a discussion, and she was like, "Well, I'd like to have my own PS5," and this was last year. And I said, "Okay, well, before we talk about that, we got to see how much you actually play it, because you can always come in here and play this PS5 that we have in the living room, and it's fine." And you know, it turned out she just didn't play it that much, and she has very specific games that she plays, and even more than that, so many more of these kids I will watch people play games and playing them myself. So everything is changing in entertainment, and people are going to have to figure out how to market to Gen Z, because you're right. If there was a Fortnite box, I think it would probably
just an Epic box, and maybe they could throw like some indies or something. They can have their own little storefront, but like it's an Epic box. It's built and geared to play Fortnite. Yeah. Like the whole thing is just that. I think you could sell that.
Like a llama.
Yeah, and like we hear constantly, and I think I'm not trying to jump ahead because I think somebody had a question about this, but we hear constantly about the state of the industry and the cost of making games, and like, man, you keep worrying about like cost of making. Like, what about people buying it? Who's buying these things? Like not now. Right now we're in a great spot, but like 10 years from now, who's buying these things at $70 each? Who's buying $70 Donkey Kong remasters and $70? You know, who are you replacing me with? I guess more or less what I'm saying. It doesn't feel like we're being like, I don't feel like the kids, like my kids that I know and the friends that he has, I don't feel like they're like me at the time. No. Like we are not the same consumer.
No, not at all.
He doesn't value this stuff. Like to him, gaming is disposable. They'll move and go to the next thing that, like, if something better, free to play comes, they'll play that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very different, very troubling.
A little bit. I don't want to make it like doom scrolling, but it's definitely it's definitely like a threat to the business.
Yeah.
That's where you start thinking of like the Lego Horizon. Like, yeah, you need to start doing more of that shit fast.
Yeah. They're going to have to start thinking of this strategy before it gets to the point where it's already passed.
Exactly. You don't want to be reactive to this. You need to be proactive, because this is a disturbing trend that's starting to grow here. In a world of where people are like, I don't need to buy games, I'll just play Fortnite. So they stop buying more games and they just play Fortnite for years on end, and they don't upgrade consoles because the last console still plays Fortnite just fine. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, that's a challenge you need to work around.
All right. Let's go on to, I think this is our final story. Nope. We got some more stuff.
Headlines.
All right.
Yeah, you can do these. These can be fast. Like, we don't have to spend a lot of time here.
This will be fine. Yeah.
Amazon Prime's gonna be a bunch of games.
15
The Cavs on the clock.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. And like, none of the players that I wanted them to take have been taken yet. I want them to take Filipowski from Duke, the shooting big man, but I don't think they're going to. They need a wing.
Probably not.
But they're like everybody that I thought. Furphy, Filipowski, like, they're all available. Everybody's still here. So it's a good spot so far.
Yeah. Any of these games that Amazon's giving away you want to talk about?
I mean, they're giving away Star Wars Battlefront Classic. Call of Juarez is an awesome game. Forager's good. Hitman Absolution, right? Let's get a bunch
That's
of
a good one. Shredder's Revenge.
And all of these games you can get if you're a Prime member, which most people are. You can get them. This isn't like some Luna shit. Just Google Prime Gaming. Go get your code. These are all codes for GOG on PC. You download all these games forever. So you might as well. If you pay for Prime, get your free games.
Yeah, free
Why
games.
not?
Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
Great game.
Yeah, they're just giving that to you. You can just have it. Mm-hmm. No purchase, no subscription necessary. Just go get your games.
Yeah. I'll let you handle the headlines, Donnie, because I'm terrified of the first one, and I don't want to start that conversation.
Yeah, I was going to say, thanks for turning it over to me now. So the first thing they wrote in the headlines was Dr. Disrespect drama. Because this is definitely like in the news right now. Now, I always say I don't really care about the story because I've never really cared about this person, this personality, or the streaming. But this is the news. And as I always say, the news is the news. Like, this is gaming news right now. So a quick little recap. I didn't write notes for this, but I think I can do it somewhat justice. Dr. Disrespect is a streamer. He's most notably known for, like, I mean, he streams everything, but I think it's like Call of Duty is like really his thing. He's streaming Elden Ring and a lot of shooters and stuff like that. He's a personality, got super popular, and he signed an exclusive deal with Twitch years ago, and then abruptly years ago, like 4 years ago, just dropped him. Like, out of nowhere, just not anymore. Done. And there was a ton of speculation as to why that happened and when it happened and everything. We never got any word.
And people were upset.
So fast forward a few years, we've recently had a couple former Twitch employees come forward and say, like, fuck it. I guess the NDA has expired or whatever. I don't know how NDAs work. Apparently, you can sign NDAs and still just do whatever you want anymore. I don't, like, it doesn't seem like it's all that like actual enforceable. So some, and I don't think these employees signed NDAs. I think they just knew of them. So they come forward and they go, actually, the reason this guy was dropped is because he was soliciting a minor using Twitch DMs, chat, whatever that they were doing.
Yes.
So that started to gain steam. He had like a statement on it. Originally, he was like, I'm not going to talk about it. We came to a settlement. It was a conclusion. I'm not going to talk about it. And of course, when anything like this happens, it's going to snowball. Like, we've seen this happen with, like, how many celebrities? Right? People want to know. They want to know whether it's good or right or different. People, they want to know. So they're going to find out. And they did. And apparently there's like some documentations that leaked and whatnot. And yeah, he was soliciting a minor. And so he co-founded a game studio called Midnight Society. They went in, partnered together to make a game. They came out and said, after investigation, where we talked to these people and whatnot, we've decided to drop him instantly from our entire company.
Correct.
That's very telling. And I'm not trying to sway your opinion one way or the other, whether you like or you don't. That's pretty huge. Like, it's pretty damning. It's a damning thing to say, like, we talked to people that knew, and we never want to be in business with the person ever again. It's like, oh shit.
And then he put out an actual statement on the issue.
Yeah, and he put out the statement where he was like, yes, years ago I was chatting with a minor, which is interesting because like he put that and then he deleted it and then he put it back. So I guess he was struggling with the words. And
he should struggle some more.
Now, again, to his credit, he was like, it didn't move beyond that. It stopped and all that. Okay. There's a lot of people here trying to like, I'm trying to do this fair because like I said, I don't really care. I'm almost indifferent outside of the fact that like, obviously I don't support anybody like soliciting minors. There are people that are like, well, how old was she? If it was a she, I don't even say it was she. I mean, I think we assume it's a she, but who knows?
Yeah.
When did he know? When did he know and all that? The part of me that's like, okay, you can try to like make, I don't want to say excuses, but like soften the blow for this for anybody. People, I think they've tried to turn the attention. Well, what did Twitch know? Or they come, that's really doesn't matter to me. It's like this guy was soliciting a minor. Now, it'd be one thing if this guy was like 18, 19, maybe he's 20. Okay. If you're 20 years old and you're super famous and you start talking to some girls 16 or 17, like it's kind of sketch at that point, but like, okay, I don't think that's that far out of the norm.
Yeah.
Dude was 35 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't care if she was 17. He's 35.
Adult with a capital A.
100%. That's the part of it where I can't. That's the part where I'm like, no, there are no qualifiers for this for me. Dude's 35. Okay, there's no excuse. He's 35. I don't care. Like, to me, I don't want to say I don't care because I definitely care. It doesn't matter if she was 11 or 7. It doesn't matter. Dude's 35.
It was inappropriate. It was
way too young. Way too young.
Yeah.
Like 18, 19's too young. Legal, too young. That's me. That's me, and that's the unfortunate part of this sort of story, especially in the age of social media, is online morality and stuff. I'm definitely not above anything like that, but I also have no interest in a 17, 18-year-old.
Correct.
Because to me, they're kids. What in the world could I possibly have in common or want to care from talking to an 18-year-old girl? Like that's asinine to me. Yeah. That's crazy. I could be rich and I still wouldn't be interested in that.
That sounds horrible.
But that's just my 2 cents on it. Feel free to fill in, guys. What you guys think.
I can care less about him or his situation. Never been a fan, but his statement was just bad. Like his like Kyle the Pug said, he has a wife and kid for one thing, and then his statement basically saying, well, technically, I didn't do anything illegal. There was no charges found. Like, you didn't do anything illegal.
If you have to use technically, hey, bro,
it's essentially like I didn't get caught. Like, okay, like technically, Chris Hansen didn't walk in the building, so I'm okay. Sometimes you got to know when to just shut up.
Yeah.
It's
shut up, bro.
I don't really have an opinion on Dr. Disrespect as a content creator or a streamer. But I will say, like, I agree with you guys. I mean, this is pretty easy layup. Like, if you're 35, don't solicit a minor.
Feels
whatever
crazy that it has to be said, but it has to be said.
It does have to be said, and I tell my wife this all the time. For people who do like them, tell her all the time. Yeah, she's behind that door. Okay, so
it's bad.
I'm trying to live.
I think he said he's stopped streaming. Is that a thing?
Yeah, he's stopped streaming. The 49ers have dropped him. It's suspected that other people are gonna.
Yeah, I think anybody
him as well.
Yeah, because I mean it's indefensible. We've seen
it is
for people
a little
who do
wild.
like them. Your favorites are problematic, because your favorites are people. Your favorites are problematic. We're problematic. They're going to be problematic, and some of them.
I'm not saying that I have any person of perfect morals. If anything, I'm the opposite.
Right.
I'm pretty much a degenerate myself, but this is a road beyond me.
This is soliciting a minor when you're 35 years old. You know what you're doing. You're doing it because you feel
25-year-old.
Yeah.
Find a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
I do think it's wild that this happened like 4 years ago, and he was still able to have a pretty successful career.
Oh yeah, he's made
for a while.
That's the other thing. Out. People are like, "Well, what did Twitch know, and why didn't they say it, and why didn't they report it?" Twitch doesn't want people to know this. That's why they sign NDAs. They don't want people knowing that they had a person on the payroll soliciting minors. That's really bad for Twitch. Suddenly, Twitch becomes the places where people will get your kids, and kids. You just talked about it. Kids watch people play games when they play themselves. Like that's all problematic. I also saw somebody tweet. They also probably don't want you to know that like they can monitor the DMs that you're sending, and like there's like a privacy thing. Like, right. I understand exactly why Twitch has said nothing about, and they don't want to. They want it to go away. That's in their best interest for this to go away. So they're probably like freaking right now. They're like,
and this falls on him. It doesn't matter what Twitch said.
Yeah, I don't like trying to point the blame somewhere else. I hate
this is on
him.
This is on him.
People are like, why weren't the police involved? Why didn't the girl come in? It's like, dude, there could be that's not your prerogative.
Reasons. Doesn't matter.
Exactly. It could be for numerous reasons that are all valid and doesn't stop what happened. And that's really the focus point. The focus point is that there's somebody in a prominent position. You know, I'm not saying using that, but using access to that to solicit somebody else.
And I think
here's the thing: whether it was willing or not doesn't matter, dude.
Doesn't matter.
It does not matter.
It does not matter if this young lady was like, "Hey,
if she could be all for it, let's get married."
He's an adult.
Doesn't matter.
It's automatically.
Yeah.
No,
wait.
We don't. You don't.
100%.
So also, there's such thing as things can be legal, but also immoral. Like there are a lot of things that are like very legal, but are very immoral. And I think and
that's what I meant when I brought it up. I feel the same way if she was 18.
Yeah,
if she was 18, people are like, it's legal. I'm like, yeah, but it's fucked though, right? Like nobody wants that.
Like it's
like him saying, "Oh, I didn't do anything illegal."
That's what I'm trying to say. Like this isn't like a 19-year-old and like a 16-year-old.
Yeah,
like you see those sorts of things. I'm like, okay, they're both kids. Like, let's not get crazy. Like that's okay. But this is not okay.
The thing with the statement, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but when you're reading it, to me, it sounds like when he says I didn't do anything illegal, it sounds like, well, I didn't actually ask her for something.
I didn't get caught.
I was just talking to her.
Yeah.
It didn't go beyond that. Oh, that doesn't make it better.
Yeah.
The fact that it was going to go there, and it seemed to be clear by multiple parties it was going to go there. That's already an issue. Especially
apparently there's a document floating around that spells some of this out, and that's why the company and the brands and stuff are so quick to act.
Yeah,
but it seems pretty jamming. Like I said, I'm court of public opinion and all that. It's by the actions people are taking. I don't think this is like a unjust cancellation thing.
No,
this seems pretty cut and dry.
I mean, people aren't getting canceled. You're just making bad decisions, and you got to deal with it. At this point, like you said, though, he's made millions of dollars, so he's also going to be fine if he never streams again. But hey, you fucked up. You fucked up. You did something wrong, and
you pay the consequences.
Just the way it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing else to say about it. He's a terrible person.
I don't know that. I don't know that about him. Like I said, I'm indifferent. I'm truly indifferent. I can't say he's a terrible person or anything like that, but that is not good.
Yeah, that is
and bad. He deserves whatever comes from it, and probably more. But yeah. Anyway. Moving on. Epic Mickey Rebrush got a release date. It comes out September 24th.
Sorry, Epic Mickey. We had to be next to the story.
And you got to do it somewhere. Yeah, there's a $199 collector's edition for Epic Mickey Remastered.
of kids.
Yeah.
My son
Speaking of targeting minors,
here's Mickey Mouse.
No, we don't.
are you going to get the collector's edition, Delvin?
Disrespect.
Absolutely not.
Who is?
That's cool.
$200 for that's insane. What in the Mickey Mouse? What in the Disney parent adult shit is going on? Anybody's paying for that for?
Nah.
Epic
My son
Mickey.
loved
That's
this game when
crazy.
he was a kid. This was like his game when he was a kid, but he's not buying that.
No, I no, because because I know.
We took Jalen Tyson, by the way.
No,
see, we took Jalen Tyson is a forward from Cal. He's 6'7", 220. He averaged 19, 7, 3 assists, a half a block, 2 steals. He shot 47 from the field, 37 from 3, and 80 from the line. We need a wing, so I thought they were going to take a wing, and they took the wing. I wanted Filipowski, but they took Jalen Tyson.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad. More headlines. Stella Braid has sold over 1 million. We think that's coming from like they had like I guess like an investors meeting or something, and they were like, yeah, we think we sold over 1 million. They said they're looking into a PC version, but the CEO said, but we can't really talk about other consoles because of our contractual obligations to Sony.
That's cool.
Yeah, good for them for selling 1 million. That's a brand new IP. Yeah. That's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Good. Keep supporting it.
Anything that sells 1 million is a big deal in the video game space. And that game's worth it too. The game's really nice. I don't think it's really a game for me, but it's beautiful. It's super fun to play.
Yeah, I played it. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, but it felt good, played good, looks good. So
yeah, I gotta get
good
back
for
to
them.
It.
Any time an original IP is selling well, that's good news.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. It could be like Suicide Squad or something. You know, there's opposite of that.
Yeah.
Street Fighter will land March 20, 2026 for domestic release from Sony Pictures. The film is being made from Legendary. It's being co-developed and produced with Capcom. So we are getting another crack at Street Fighter the movie. What do you guys think of that?
Got to tell you, they got it right the first time. Stop trying.
Yeah, it's going to be
Jean-Claude Van Damme and
that movie is fantastic. I don't care what anybody says. That Van Damme Street Fighter movie is amazing.
I don't know, it's terribly fantastic, but sure.
Yes. Yeah. It just had its anniversary too, like not too long ago.
It did, yeah.
It's
on Tubi.
This would be the third time they're making a live action Street Fighter?
Yes. And
because the other two are terrible. The guy from American Pie, right?
Yeah.
Yes. The other two are awful. They are god awful. They are not
Street Mortal Kombat has me kind of like optimistic, like they could do this. Well, I thought the Mortal Kombat movie was really good.
It was okay.
For
what you're trying to do,
I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, for what they're trying to do, I was like, yeah, they nailed it. They did what they set out to do. Mission accomplished.
Yes.
You know,
look, Street Fighter, don't do it. Don't do it. I love the
let's
first
do
one.
it.
First one's fantastic.
I'm here for it, man.
I kind of want the camp though. Like if they make like the very serious Street Fighter movie, I'm like,
yeah.
Do we want that?
I don't.
Like the Mortal Kombat was very serious. It's a very serious, grounded movie. Yeah. You know, for folk and people turning into snowstorms and dragons and shit. It's like it's pretty grounded, pretty serious.
I was asking when the original one came out in '95, maybe.
Maybe an earlier, like something like that.
90, something like that.
Yeah,
but it's
there
excellent.
There are so many scenes in that movie I legit laugh at to this day.
I mean, it's really bad.
It's
amazing that you had all this money and all this talent and like this is what you came up with, but it's still good. Like it's entertaining.
Yeah,
it's bad, but it's entertaining.
It's not a good movie at all, but it's entertaining.
It's memorable. Julia. It's quotable. It's viral. Like there's a lot of things going with it. Like it won't be forgotten. Like I don't know how many people remember that Mortal Kombat movie going forward.
It's much more entertaining than the 2000s version that they did.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's more entertaining than good.
Bison is amazing.
I think they're all good.
Julia's last performance.
Yeah,
true.
Fantastic.
So,
yeah,
I'm here for it. Do it.
I quote that movie often. Him saying, the day M. Bison came to your home was the most important day of your life. But to me, it was just Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yo, that's a wild line to tell somebody after you murdered their dad. So many great lines in that movie.
So are you gonna go? You day one on Street Fighter movie?
No, I will go watch the original one again.
I'm probably day one. I'm day one on every movie, especially if you ask Devin. So yeah, I'll go see it.
Yeah, I'm not.
I watched Monkey Man again. Monkey Man was great. Great.
I gotta go see Quiet Place this weekend. I have not seen.
Oh yeah, that is this weekend.
It is this weekend.
Yeah, got tickets to see that tomorrow.
I'm hoping to go Saturday. Not Saturday, Sunday, but I'm hoping to go Saturday. Yeah, it does look great.
Looks good.
The Steam Summer. So hang on. Speaking of movies, what the hell did I just watch?
Monkey Man's great, T.
Oh, I watched The Omen.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet.
Oh,
it's good.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's good. This is the best Omen movie they've ever made.
Oh, I'm excited.
But here's the thing. I think I've said this on Decade of Horror before. I'm not that into The Omen. To me, this may be a hot take, and I apologize to somebody. I think The Omen as a franchise pretty overrated.
I agree.
Like, it's not as good as like Amityville. It's not as good as many of the places that kind of exist next to, in my mind. I don't think the OG is like a classic or the best. Or my wife loves that fucking little Damien. She loves that shit. I was like, this is boring as hell. The new one though, I was like, yo, this is much better. This is like, it's almost like Emily Rose-esque.
Okay.
Which I loved. So yeah, I really dug the new Omen.
I love the original Omen. I'm in the same camp as your wife. Like I love the original Omen. I don't think the franchise is great, but I was really, really surprised.
Yeah, surprised is the right word.
How good this was. It was.
I was like, yo, this is better than I have ever imagined it could be.
Incredibly well done, and to do it as a prequel, I'm excited. I'm excited to see more.
There's so many Omen movies that are forgettable. Like so many sequels of The Exorcist and stuff. You're just like, okay.
Well, the one with Sam Neill, I think the Omen 3 or maybe the Omen 4, that one was direct to TV. That was a TV movie.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have the best track record, but they did a hell of a job. Like, really,
it's really good. If it's on your back burner for horror movies this year, because of the franchise and everything it's done before it, move it up the list. Put it up the list.
It's on Hulu right now.
Yeah, you can watch it for free.
I'm gonna watch it.
It's good.
Tara, I don't get scared to watch horror films now. Not even a little bit.
I try to be. I want to be scared. Like
she said they didn't know they had multiple Omen films. I don't know how many there are, but I feel like there's like 11.
I think there's 4. I think there's.
I feel like there's a bunch.
I do feel like 4 Omen movies, and then there was a 1-season show.
Maybe that's why I think there's a bunch, because there's a TV show.
Because there was a 1-season show.
Omen,
Omen
2, Final Conflict, Omen: The Awakening, and then the first Omen, and the TV show.
And the TV show. But yeah, I'm actively watching horror movies, hoping to be scared.
Yeah,
like at least if not scared, at least disturbed. Some of them reach that, some of them don't. It doesn't necessarily affect.
I don't get scared though.
If I can get the chills on my arm, if I can get my hair standing up, I'm like, oh boy, we're in rarefied air now. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't get scared though. I'm like, oh, this is disturbing. This is gross. I'm scared now.
But I love horror movies, so even if it doesn't scare me, if it's a good horror movie, I'm in. And that one, the first Omen, is particularly very, very good.
Yep. Not my favorite I've seen this year, but towards the top, better half, for sure.
Yeah.
I haven't liked many horror movies this year, so it's been rough.
I'm sorry?
I haven't liked many horror movies this year. So it's been rough for me.
Did you watch the Oh God, I don't have them all in front of me. Hang on, let me pull up my list. Did you watch Late Night with the Devil?
I like that one.
Yeah, me too. I love that.
That was really good.
That shit was
I enjoyed
dope.
that one a lot.
That was good.
It was really
good.
That
was very good.
That's the top of my list right now.
Me too. Same thing.
Yeah. The Steam Summer Sale begins tomorrow. You can pick up a 64 gigabyte LCD Steam Deck for $297. That's less than $300. That's less than a Switch.
Great
That's
deal.
less than PS5. That's less than most Xboxes. That's pretty good get.
Steam Deck's great. Highly recommended.
Steam Deck is great. They announced a bunch of things today, actually. What was the thing they announced? Video capture is coming to Steam, like built-in video capture.
Oh.
So it's coming to Steam Deck, but it's coming to Steam's and usually your PC and stuff too. I don't know. Part of me was like, I don't know why I would, because like I already have, like I use the Xbox game bar for that, but I guess some people probably just hate Xbox and would rather use Steam.
Well, that's what I'm doing with my Steam Deck.
And then on Steam Deck, of course, yeah, like you definitely would want to use on Steam Deck.
Yeah, I was doing that with
so if you want
AEW review.
If you want to capture your gameplay and stuff, that'll just come baked in. They also announced, like they did like a whole blog post today on controllers and like X input and stuff. And they talked about like how, I didn't write it all down because I didn't think it was all that newsworthy, but like there's like 35% of everybody that plays Steam uses an Xbox controller, like 12% of them use a PlayStation controller. But I think the notable thing was that Hori is making a Steam controller.
Ooh!
Like it's built for Steam. It has like a Steam guide button right in the center of it. It has a bunch of buttons on it. There's like 4 extra programmable buttons, no touchpads, but like it is a controller built for Steam. And I don't know if I don't need it. Like I looked at it, I was like, that's cool. Like I don't feel like I need a controller, but you know me, I love controllers. So like if a review is like, you got to get it, I might.
Why not?
You know, and why not? Yeah, I have another one. I have no less than maybe 40 controllers in this basement. If you guys didn't know, I have controllers everywhere.
Man.
They're all over the place. I've got 2 or 3 here, 4 there. I have 5 Gears controllers. They're just Gears controller, just like on display. I love buying controllers. I have a Doom controller. I have, oh God, I can't even tell you how many Switch controllers I have. I have a weakness for controllers. So like I said, if there's a great review and it's available and it's pretty cheap, yeah, I'd probably get it. Why not? At moments I've had times with controls on Steam and PC. Like sometimes it doesn't always play nicely with like the Xbox game bar. They don't always talk to each other. Like X input and all that stuff doesn't always work. So I don't know. Maybe that would make it work. I don't know. Gory Cuddly Carnage is this cat game that I'm very interested in, where you get to play as a cat riding a surfboard with like razor blades, kill everything. It's been censored ahead of its release in Japan, where they have had to change all of the blood. They've had to like change, like they no longer have blood, they have purple juice.
Boo!
It was that bloody that they felt the
need to change it? This is like this is the inverse of Mortal Kombat that we grew up with, being like censored on other consoles and in Japan for us. Now we're censoring shit for them, and I don't know what happened. When did this flip flop?
Yeah, that's wild.
Because we're in their indie collective, the Wired Productions indie. We are a Wired creator, the PSVG outlet. I'm hoping to get a chance to review this game because I've liked this game ever since I've played the demo. You can play a demo on Steam. This was a demo on Switch and stuff. It's super fun. It's like Tony Hawk, but like Dead Rising. Like imagine Tony Hawk, but you skate around and just kill everything.
Okay,
it's pretty fun.
With that.
But yeah, it's being censored in Japan of all places. That was pretty surprising. And then our last one for rumors is that there are rumors swirling that PlayStation might be looking to bring PS3 games to PlayStation 5. This is not the first time we've heard this rumor. This has been
for 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a constant thing. Now the rumor has been like revitalized by Special Nick from Xbox era, whom I would just say is questionable source. He has had things right. He's had plenty of things wrong. By my best understanding, this is the guy that started like this whole Marcus Phoenix Gears collection thing that's never happened. And there doesn't seem to be any actual evidence to support that it is happening.
So he's a liar.
Not always, but sometimes I think maybe
a liar.
Or maybe not a liar, but misinformed. Interesting, Grubb came out and said that he's heard that they're trying to do this as well. So now you have 2 people saying it, which I guess is better than none.
I believe Grubb. I don't believe the other guy.
I do believe Grub. I don't want to get people's hopes up, but like, I think this makes like I'm of two minds on this. I believe it. In a year where you don't have a whole lot of releases, probably smart to dust off some shit, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
But as we just recently saw with PS2 games, is this what we want? Like, are they gonna do like Xbox and like in it's back compat and X enhanced and we doubled the frame rate and it's better and it's 4K?
Nope.
Or are they gonna sell us like $40 Infamous that runs 720p and shit?
Oh my
stretched
God.
out.
That's what they're gonna do.
That's what they've
that's
done.
probably- that's
I
what they're
know.
gonna do.
So it's like,
Yeah.
am I
This is
gonna
what you
buy it?
want.
Like,
This is what you're getting.
probably, yeah, I am gonna buy it. If it's Infamous,
Yeah.
but like, is this what
Because
I
I would
want?
love to
Like,
play a
no?
remastered Infamous.
yeah, of
I
course,
love
we
that.
all would.
You're not getting that.
You think of like Metal Gear 4 and stuff like there's things to like here.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Metal Gear 4, and it's going to take the same time to install it. It's the same way like it's on a PS3.
There's no boot into a PS3 OS. You got to use the same OS and everything. Like, I wouldn't put it past them. Like, that's their solution. I would hope for them to do a little bit more.
No, they're not.
But like the PS2 games, and I'm not trying to throw a stone at them, it leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
You know, like they're doing the bare minimum. And I say that as a Nintendo fan.
Yeah.
Nintendo has done more with Nintendo Switch Online than seemingly they're doing with PS2 Classics. Like when you download Ocarina of Time on your Switch and you play it through the NSO app, it's got texture filtering and it's been up-res and it's widescreened and it's control. Like there are modern enhancements. It's the best way to play that game. You know, like that's kind of the expectation, especially if you're doing it via emulation.
Not with PlayStation.
I would guess based on track record, they're just throwing the games on there.
And that's why I'm of two minds. That's why it's like this is bittersweet because it's like, do I want to buy some of this? I do. And will I? I will. Am I happy about it? Like, not really. You know, and the funny thing is it doesn't put me in a juxtaposition, but like I see so many people who are like, I'm not going to buy Donkey Kong. $60 for a remaster of a remaster. Like, it's still in HD and stuff. It could be worse. Yeah. They could sell you the fucking Wii version for $60 because that's apparently what PlayStation wants to do.
Exactly.
PlayStation is like, you'll take this shit.
Cool, guys. Like damn.
You want to play Infamous? This is what you fucking get.
Yeah. I think Sly Cooper is good. I'm giving them a lot of flack. That's probably not their thing. Sly Cooper, I don't know. It's like what, $15-$20 is what Haley paid for it. And apparently it's good. But like Tomb Raider is like legit like $30 or $35. Like Tomb Raider is like fucking, I don't know, but whatever they told me is like, it's crazy. It's asinine whatever they think they're trying to sell Tomb Raider Legends for. When you can, like, if you have a PC, and again, you wonder why people are getting PCs. It's like, I don't know, maybe because you can get Tomb Raider Legend for $2 and up everything on your own and play it great and play it on your handheld. Like, maybe that's why people are getting PCs and not doing consoles. You know, I have an anecdote to support that. So I've talked about on recent weeks. I keep talking about it. We have this guy who's kind of like an intern at our office, like a temporary employee. He wants the job, but it's not his yet. And I've got a chance to talk to him and work with him for the last couple months. I told you this before. He has a PlayStation. He bought the PlayStation. He just plays Call of Duty. That's it. That's all he's ever played.
Yeah.
He's been playing games for years. He just played. That's all he's ever played is Call of Duty. He has entire console just plays Call of Duty. And I've talked to him about PlayStation Plus and Game Pass, and like he's like, that's all cool. He just plays Call of Duty. So after all these conversations, he came to me today. And he was like, man, that new Call of Duty looks great. He's playing Modern Warfare 2. He's like, this is so good. I was like, yeah, man, it's awesome. He played Modern Warfare 3 and then went to 1 and 2. And he's like, this is so much better than 3. I was like, yeah, you started at the worst part of it. And he goes, man, I was talking to my friends and everybody says, man, I got to get it. Like, everybody's getting PCs. I got to get on PC. And I was like, yeah, like it's infectious. Like, this is the craze. Like, this is the wave. Right now. Yeah, that's the wave. Everybody, and you wonder why. I don't know. Maybe it's because you get refunds and you don't get upcharged nickel and dime for this shit and back and pat, like things that should be standard. Yeah, they should be standard.
You would think. I mean, you know, you have the ability to do it. You know, there's people out there that want it, but I mean, hey, if we already gave you this bullshit, then you'll probably take this other bullshit. Yeah. But why are we going to do anything else?
But there's a lot of talk industry-wise about the slowing sales of consoles. Like, it doesn't look like either one of these consoles are going to get to 100. Definitely doesn't look like it's in the cards. Maybe they've got something to juice it. Maybe the PS5 Pro puts a shot in the arm, but like 100 million doesn't look like it's there.
No.
And like 75 million looks like that'd be nice. Maybe not. Like Xbox, not even close. But even the PlayStation trajectory, like they keep talking about, like, I don't know how many more people are going to get one of these things. You know, they need more system exclusives. They need more things to do it. And it's
that's what I was going to say. They need more first party exclusives. And
you've got Steam Deck and PC working on the fringes, man. Like they're picking up people that are willing to switch.
They need a price.
It's interesting. The Rude writes in, no segment this week, but he says, I have a question. I'm not sure if you've seen Sean Layden's interview, but he talked about how we need to get rid of platform wars and just go to the one console, as there's no real difference between the Xbox and the PlayStation. Do you think one platform will help the industry, or is more options still the better solution?
That's a great question. I think more options right now. I just can't see. I can't see these guys giving up their ability to have their own platform and do their thing. And I think more options is still a better way to go, because it gives you more chance for innovation.
You can't trust PlayStation enough to their own devices. They're gonna start charging motherfuckers $2,000 for a PS6.
What's funny, they don't count Nintendo here, and I don't know why. If you're talking about console and the platform wars, I mean, Nintendo has an extremely healthy console platform right now.
Nintendo is winning.
Yeah, I mean, they are literally crushing it. They have an 8-year-old fucking phone they're selling for $300 a piece. They just announced like 10 more games coming to this month.
There is no console war because Nintendo has won.
Yeah.
And I understand why they don't count the same, but like, watch yourself.
They should,
because they'll eat your lunch, and they have.
Keep talking about they only need to be one. Yeah, might need to be Nintendo.
Just
that might be the one. Fucking around.
I did see this interview, and this is Sean Layden's thing that he's been kind of going on for some time now. He's been kind of like the anti-Phil Spencer, and people like using his statements. And I don't necessarily think they're wrong. I think they come from a good place. I don't think he's being a bad actor or anything. I think Sean Layden wants everybody to focus on. He wants the industry to be more healthy, and I can appreciate that.
Yes.
That said, if Xbox stopped making consoles, I don't think that means you have one console. I'll just go with Sean Layden. Let's not count Nintendo. If the handheld space has taught us anything, if there's a space to provide more, people will fill in the gap. If Xbox vacates, you don't think Asus won't do one? You don't think Valve won't do a console? You don't think you'll never see another Steam box or something again? Somebody's
going to jump in that space.
Somebody will come in because there's some money to make. Amazon. Exactly. There's money to be made. You know, I honestly think we're probably not too far away from Apple unveiling a new Apple TV. And I do wonder if they're like, with the recent trend of their new chip and all the ports, like, why don't they just throw a bunch of money and make gaming more of a focus with it? Like, you know, like you've always been able to game on Apple TV, but they've never like had a controller or anything. Like, what if they did? It changes the game.
It's always been kicked around as an Apple console.
Exactly.
So, somebody would enter that 100%. Space. I just think having multiple platforms, I think that pushes innovation, right? Yes. Whether I would consider the Switch to be one of those platforms. I don't think if Xbox goes away, like you said, to me, you still have two consoles.
It's funny that he's saying, I think the crux of this is he's like, I want to be able to sell games. He's talked about the cost of making games forever and how the console is a limiter. Okay, so why don't you say the thing out loud then? Because what you really want to say is then why don't you just stop exclusivity, which kills the platform wars, and you put your games on everything and you sell as many of them as you can.
Yeah.
He's not saying that. He's like, we really should just have one console. Or it's like, or you could just put Lego Horizon on everything. You just put it on Xbox. Like you do the show. It won't be the end of the world.
Yeah.
I'm interested, like nobody ever counters him with that. And he's like, we need to put it into platform wars. I'm like, well, you know how to do that? start putting your games on the fucking systems. Like that's how you do that.
Just put it everywhere.
You know? Yeah. Which is,
even if it's timed.
That's what Xbox is doing, and they're being clowned for it. Right? Like people are dunking on them left and right. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're like, you know what? We're going to put our games on these other places because we're going to make more money. And
it makes sense. Business-wise, it just makes sense.
And
why would you limit yourself?
If the things are if making the games are becoming too expensive for the base that you have, and you are also not growing people into the business, that's the way you find growth. You find growth by not limiting yourself to a box. Right. I talked about this last week. Halo. You know, I watched this giant documentary and I was there. So it's not like the first time I saw it. I was there. I've always seen the Halo hype. I've never been a part of it because I'm not a Halo guy, but the pedestal that Halo used to be on, you know, the midnight launch and the hype and the enthusiasm for Halo, you know, Halo 3 and shit, like that should still be here now. And I think a large reason that it's not is that it's so segregated and siloed and not available for, like, if we fucking launched Halo 6 or whatever and it's everywhere and everybody can play, that's an event.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's probably where Halo should be. You know, I think that is more important than selling a specific box. If anything, I would say you look at smaller things like Hellblade or whatever to maybe differentiate your box. And you put the things like Doom and Doom and Halo and Gears and Call of Duty, and you put them everywhere. And you just get as many damn people playing as you possibly can.
That makes sense.
Because that's the only way that you stand a chance in the face of
expand your customer base.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
Fortnite's everywhere and they have everyone.
It can be played on everything.
You can't fight for customers by limiting yourself so much from the start.
Yeah.
So,
agreed.
But it's a good question, and I'm interested to see what Sean Lane thinks. As Yarden points out, he works at Tencent, and Tencent did have a box in China. I think they did have like their own box. So, like maybe that's his end game. But it is interesting. Everybody goes, yeah, we need to get rid of this extra console. It's like, or you could just cross publish. Oh, we can't do that. Then we can't sell our console. I'm like, oh, well, okay. So who wants to get rid of the console war? You or us? It sounds like you problem. Yeah. Anyway, that's the news and all that. So,
right.
Delvin, take away questions.
Let's get to these questions. Our first question is from TPR. TPR asks, so what's the deal with airline food?
What is the deal with airline food?
What's the deal with airline food?
Kramer, stop saying the N-word on stage.
You see Kramer's like making a comeback. He has a book and shit. He's doing all these.
He's been
he's everywhere right now. He's like on The View and shit. Like it's a thing. Yeah, I don't fly. I got nothing to say here. I don't think I've ever had a flight long enough to get like a bag of peanuts. So I got no idea.
The last time I got an actual meal on an airplane was like 2002. Like they just don't do that anymore. I mean, for international flights, I'm sure they do, but
not at the bitches starve.
For a domestic flight, no. Yeah, they're like, you can have a fucking Sprite and crackers. Like
that's what they do. That's literally what they do every time I go there.
So the deal with
you don't even get the whole can. You get a half a can and a bag of peanuts.
The deal with airplane food is they said, "Fuck you." We're not.
I mean, the fact that they charge us for like every bag and every step taken and everything, like, I'm surprised we even get that shit anymore.
Yeah. It's insane.
Surprised they don't give you like a lifesaver and they're like, you'll live. You'll make it.
You'll be fine.
If the plane doesn't crash overall. Do you see the plane the other day that fell to like, it was 500 feet off the ground? That's how far it declined before they could stabilize the plane.
I saw that.
Yeah, imagine you walk out of your house, 500 feet above you, this fucking airliner.
That's the one was flying over the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Nah.
I'm like, I don't want to fly no more. I didn't want to fly to begin with, but like, it's a recent trend. Nobody can it's enough to at least make you second guess. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Yeah. I'll drive.
flying. I hate flying. I do it because I have to, but I hate it.
The Knicks got Daddier, and I'm not sure if you guys know that, but he's a good prospect.
Okay.
He's like, remember the name, because when I'm telling you in a playoff series in years to come, you're going to remember. He's like this tenacious kind of defender, like the role player you want on your team that pisses off the other fans. That's this kid.
He's that guy.
And the Knicks just got him. The Knicks.
Perfect for the Knicks.
Yeah, they got him at 25. Still no Bronny. We're at 26. Still no Bronny. Maybe it will be tomorrow.
Oh, might be a second day.
Yep.
All right. Our next question from Tyler. Tyler says, in response to Marvel vs. Capcom collection, do you think Sega could ever work with Capcom on a fighting game, Streets of Rage X Capcom? They have enough characters for it. Ryu versus Axel, Chun-Li versus Blaze, M. Bison versus Mr. X. So, would you want to see a Streets of Rage versus Capcom?
Sure. I want to see any Streets of Rage, but I wonder, like, why limit yourself to Streets of Rage? Sega versus Capcom.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, why not Sega versus Capcom?
Yeah,
that would be dope.
That's the move.
Because like what you're deciding is like Street Fighter or Streets of Rage versus Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas really Sega versus Capcom has a whole different. That hits a whole bit different. That's really awesome.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with it if they can pull it off.
They can. I think that's something can work. All right. Our next question is from Ed. Yes. Is there a beauty in dark tone games? Should we embrace them more, or do you think we should limit ourselves from indulging them? Now, what do they mean? What does Ed mean by dark tone games?
Yeah, I followed up on this, and he meant games with like really dark themes, loss, depression. He mentioned like hatred and stuff like that.
Like the Life is Strange games at some points.
I think it's even darker than that, but yeah, places like games that take you to dark, unsavory places.
The game that you liked a couple years ago. What was the game that they made that Bloober Team made?
The Medium. Yeah, that would definitely count.
That's a good one.
Great. Yeah, he mentioned, he goes, something like Papa and Yo that deals with alcoholism, Gears 2 with Dom's wife, the airport level in Modern Warfare 2, any games like Columbine RPG and Hatred. So he means like places that really explore some of the dark natures of our existence.
I like dark tone games as long as they have a point to them. Like I felt like I wanted to play Hatred, but everybody said that Hatred was just like dark, just to be like dark. And I don't like that type of stuff. I like if you have like a message or something interesting, like a interesting story to tell with it, like Spec Ops: The Line. Perfect example. Spec Ops: The Line is a very dark game. A very dark game about brutality, violence, mental health.
Spec Ops is.
But the story it tells with it brings you along for the ride, makes you love it. Like, if you're just being violent to be violent,
unless it becomes new perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think something like a Hatred is...
I think like Manhunt.
Yeah.
You guys ever play those?
I remember playing Manhunt. And I think there's like Hatred is, I think, a kind of a good example of where it's like, this is dark, but it feels like it's exploiting something. It's not really iterating on anything, and it's not really giving you anything artistic, anything to think about. You're just a killing machine going on a killing spree. And there's plenty of games like that don't have to be in that box. But absolutely, there's I think not only should there be darkness in games, there's a need for it. And I think the games that we've been getting, especially ones that address mental health, that address substance abuse, that address religious themes, that's great. Like that is games, is art, and people telling their stories. And I think they should continue to make those games.
I still think I played that Dragon Cancer a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Wrecked. Utterly, completely wrecked. That game have you bawling like a baby. Hellblade 2 goes to some pretty dark places. I mean, Hellblade in general, but Hellblade 2, It's like really I talked about Hellblade a bunch, and I'm pretty sure it'll come back up again at the end of the year because still to date, here in June, it's my favorite game that I've played this year. And a big part of it is like, yeah, it's beautiful, and I do think gameplay it's better and all that, but I'm almost 100% just it's the story. The way that they wrap up Senua's journey is pretty excellent if you've been along for the whole ride. If you played the first one and you really understand the story and everything she's going through. I agree with you guys. I mean, those stories are human and they need to be told. I don't want them to be exploited. Sometimes it feels like they are. I feel like Life is Strange really tries to exploit some of that sometimes. It's almost like become the franchise. I think a lot of people didn't like Life is Strange 2 for a reason because they weren't women, they weren't gay. So we had to so we hated it. You gotta be open to new things. I mean, I want to get on my soapbox just a little bit and just say that we do have to watch out for the tendency to just doom scroll. And I think this is a part of it. You can surround yourself with media and opinions and, on your online presence, the videos that you watch, your TikTok, your tweets, the games you play, the movies you watch, to make you really feel like the world is worse than it needs to be. Touch grass became a theme, became a meme but it came out of a good place. Sometimes you need to go out and see the world. It's not as bad as you think it is. For all the things you could see online and see in a game and story, it's not always that bad. Everybody's not like that. That's not society. It's not reflective as the whole. Yeah, and I feel like sometimes, especially gaming, our bubble, because of the hyperbole and the exaggeration that comes with if you frequent gaming spaces online, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have an existence of a gamer and you play the games we play, and you hear the conspiracies we see, and you see the stuff we see and the stuff that's promoted, it's very easy to feel like this world is on the brink of utter end. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. There's a whole other world out there. You're just in this bubble. And I think it's just something to point out with the games like that. You can't play too many of them, at least not back to back. Spice it up. Throw some Mario in there. Fucking have some fun. Play some Mario Wonder.
Have some levity. Have to have some levity.
Yeah. But I do enjoy those games. I love a game that makes me feel something. And even outside of the emotions, I love a game that opens up my perspective into seeing things differently through a different person's eyes or being in a different person's shoes, So I love this shit. I always talk about this as me and Delvin shit. These emotional narrative games. This is our shit. We love these games.
Very much so.
Yeah, I definitely do.
All right. Our next question from Drew. Drew says, love the Xbox talk last episode. My question is, based on what you were discussing, how do you think the handheld factors in with Xbox plans for the future? Is it just like the Series S version next to the beefy console/PC? That's a good question.
Seems to be the going take that people are assuming. I have a different spin on this. You want to hear it?
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
All ears.
Let's go.
All right. I do think Xbox is making a handheld.
I would love that.
But I don't think the greater pitch is maybe what people think. I've come to this. It could be completely wrong. Fact check it, bookmark it. Sir Yard will let me know about it years from now. I'm wondering if Xbox isn't making Steam OS, but Xbox style. They're making the Xbox front end, the launcher, right? The wrapper. So when you pick up your handheld, it feels and operates like an Xbox, but on the back end has the functionality of Windows, right? I talked about this before about how does this make sense for Xbox and everything. I kept saying that maybe Xbox would just grab an ally and rebadge it, put an Xbox logo on it. So now I'm going the opposite way. What if they're making a launcher or a front end for Windows that just gets put on every handheld? Any Windows handheld just has the option to run this Xbox mode. And it's this handheld. It's just Xbox mode. And it can be on any handheld. So maybe they have their own, but maybe it comes to Asus, maybe it comes to the Claw, and maybe it comes to anything. And like their handheld business is, we're developing an ecosystem for a myriad of devices to exist like this. And they just run on the Xbox back end. Your Game Pass will be there and your stuff will be there and you can remote play and all that. And like, it's going to be native. Your stuff's going to be there. The Windows, the Xbox store is there, right? But it is any device. Like you could put it on your device out, you could put it on your PC. Like,
that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense for them business wise. As you know, instead of just making an exclusive handheld because we just talked about this with the platforms, right? Or the games, you know, why limit yourself to one source of income essentially?
Yeah.
When you can have something that can be put on multiple devices. So that makes sense.
And
I like that take.
We brought it up earlier. I started to think about this earlier because people were talking about like the portal. We were in the Discord and people were like, man, I wish Xbox had a portal. And I'm like, it's just, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. It's not because they couldn't do it. It's not because like we would buy it. Like I would buy one and so would a couple other people. But like people are like, look at PlayStation, the portal's selling gangbusters. I don't think it is. It's selling well. Don't get me wrong. It's selling well. It's not like a 1-for-2 attach rate on the PS5. It's probably like a 2% attach rate on the PS5. You know, I still think they'd be lucky to sell 5 million of those things. You know, and that'd be great. That'd be really good for them. But like, they're not going to sell 50 million portals. It's not going to change their business. It's an accessory. They're selling it like they're selling an expensive controller, more or less. Correct. They have 50 million people to sell those to. Xbox has half of that. So if you cut that in half and then you go how many people on the half of Xbox has would buy one of these, like the margins are so small to like get into hardware making. You know, like to factor in
margins on hardware,
procure and ship, like the margins are so like I don't think it makes a lot of sense. That's like, to me, I was like, okay, because he was like, man, I wish I could have like the portal but have Android. I'm like, yeah, this was Daniel. And I was like, yeah, you just designed a phone. Like you do have one of those. That's a phone. Like you have that. You know? And that's kind of where I keep coming back to this thing where you have all these people wanting to make handhelds. You know, if I was sitting in the Xbox room, I'd be like, why do we have to make our own? Like we can make our own, but like why not just infiltrate our ecosystem on all of these other ones that also exist? And I'm wondering if maybe that's the play. Why don't they go to Asus and be like, this is the Xbox launcher? Because they talked about years ago, they said that they wanted to make a portable friendly version of Windows. Well, what if that just becomes the portable friendly version of Windows is this Xbox layer we put on top of everything? Like this is Xbox and it does all the Xbox stuff out of the box and you can play it and you can do it and you can stream and you can buy your games and all that. But then like you could press a button and maybe like go to Windows or install Steam or anything like that. Maybe install it like as an app from the Windows Store. There's something there that if they could make it feel like a console and your party is there and your friends are there, like I think that sells. You don't necessarily have to make your own handheld if you don't want to, but you could just become the alternative to SteamOS. You're the Pepsi to Coke.
It's not a bad idea.
It's my pitch.
I like it. Book it, Xbox.
Take it to the Shark Tank. Yeah. Do it.
All right. Our next question from Lord Snurts. He asks, have you ever experienced burnout from playing a game too long? Oh, yes, I have. A game that you never want to play again, even if it was fun for a time. My example is Fallout 4. After 4 complete playthroughs, including DLC, I cannot get back in the Boston Wasteland. You should not get back in the Boston Wasteland.
I don't think you can say you've burned out on a game when you've played it through 4 times. I don't think that's the same thing. I think you just done. You just did it. Yeah, like I don't think it's burnout. Maybe it is. I don't know. Like I was gonna ask because like being done with the game and burnout, I think, are different things. Like burnout is like I never want to touch this, which is what he says. Like I never want to see this again.
Right.
What game has you like that?
That's a good question.
Because nothing really comes to mind for me. Like I'm not like I never want to ever see this again.
Like by that definition, there's probably nothing but games games that I have played that I haven't beaten or gotten to the end game of. Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, like it's cool.
Loved it. Yeah,
I really really liked it but you get past I don't know, maybe the 100-hour mark. You're like, okay, I think I've had my fill.
Yeah, I was like 250 hours by the time I got to the end, and it took me like 3 years. Like I kept playing it like in spurts. I'd play it for like a month, and then I'd take 2 months off, and I'd come back, and I'd come back, and I'd come back.
Yeah, it's not a game that I don't like. I just think those
it's just too much.
Games can get beat. It's a lot.
Yeah, your opinion on that is the majority. That's how most people felt about Valhalla.
It's just overwhelming. Like
it's so much of the same. You know, it's so much of the go to the village, talk to the people, get the quest, go kill the people, save the village, liberate the town, keep going, go to the next one, do the next one.
Right.
But
Yarden said The Last of Us 2. I kind of get that. I love both those games, but they're never places that I want to go again. It's kind of like if you watch a really, really depressing or sad movie. Yeah. You're like, man, this is good. I don't have to ever watch this again.
You can always count on Jordan to bring up The Last of Us 2. If it wasn't, if JV wasn't here, I wouldn't go into it. But because you're here and you're new, I will reiterate that I think The Last of Us 2 is an incredible video game. It's amazing.
I agree.
I just don't like it. Like I personally don't like it, and there's a difference. I think there's a lot of people that don't like Hellblade, but they want to tell you it's a bad game. I just think they don't like it. I think The Last of Us 2 is an amazing game, a feat of gaming, and I don't like it. I don't like what they've done. I don't like what they've done with the characters. I don't like what they do with the story. I don't like even like the basic design of the plot, which I've gone into long detail about. I've talked about the entire third act, which I think is fucking asinine that it's even there. It's crazy. But it's a great game. But like, I don't want to go back there because I don't like it. Not because I burn out on the game. No. It is long though, for what it is. It is
long, and I really like. I think, and I really like the plot of that game, but it's also I just think games like that sometimes are just meant to be played one time because it's the subject matter. Like it's not necessarily a place that you want to go back.
It's not necessarily fun.
Right. Yeah. You're not. I wouldn't describe it as like a great time. It's not a great hang of a game. It's kind of like you're playing this. It's very violent and adult and dark, and you're kind of like, okay, I need to wash myself off afterward. But that's not the same as burnout. I can't think of anything.
The thing that comes to mind for me is Pokemon.
That's a good answer.
I may have suffered some burnout with Pokemon. Coming into, like, when we started this back however many years ago, 10, it feels like, I don't know, 8, I would have clearly told you, if you'd asked me, like, Donnie, your favorite Nintendo games, I would have said Zelda, 1, easy. Mario, number 2. My third one would have been Pokemon. Played with my son, played X and Y, played whatever the other 3DS one was, got the remakes, played Sun and Moon, played Ultra Sun and Moon, played all of them, loved them, played them, beat them, played the virtual console games, like was all about it. Pokemon for a decade. So much fun. And then we get to the Switch, and I like Let's Go, but then the Switch versions come out, and then the remakes come out, and then and like I got to a point where I was like, I don't like this anymore. Like I don't want to play this. And like I kind of feel like that's where I am. Like I didn't even play Arceus. I didn't even try it. I saw it and was like, absolutely not. And I feel like that's kind of where I am until they're gonna have to do something new or different to make me like reconsider. You know, it's like I just don't. I can't do it anymore. Like I reached an end. I was like, I don't know why.
Get the Pokemon guns.
It just stopped. Like a new art style or a new engine or something, like they gotta change it. You know, like if they just keep trotting out this same generic look that runs fucking busted and broken, and like I I can't overlook its warts anymore like I used to. You know?
Yeah.
I have an answer. Red Dead 2.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I enjoyed my time with it, but it got to the point like, yeah, I'm done. After I finished the story, I'm like, I don't need to see no more of this. And I probably won't ever go back to it again. And it's fine. I liked it. I liked it a lot, but once I got to that point, I'm like, I'm done. I've done enough riding horses and all this cowboy simulator shit. I don't need no more. We're good. We're good now. I don't have to play this anymore.
Snurk said a sports game. You know what? The 2K series. And I'll tell you why.
First round is over. Bronny was not taken.
Damn.
It's a slog. No Bronny.
Bronny's gone. Not there.
No Bronny. Second day. We'll see who picks him up.
I think
yes, nerds. NBA. The NBA 2K games. Just I'm so tired of them. I'm so tired of being nickel and dime. And you want to have fun. Madden can fall into that, but it doesn't necessarily feel like Madden's like microtransacting everything for you to actually feel like you can play it well.
Yeah.
Like I'm one of the black people that's not good at basketball. So I play NBA 2K to fulfill fantasies.
I love 2K.
Like I don't want it to feel like I'm playing basketball. That's not fun. I want to feel like I'm being able to do that without having to do a whole bunch of stuff or buy a whole bunch of points to make my player the player I want. And so that gets tiring.
Once they added the classic rosters, I'm like, all right, I'm not buying this game no more. You give me what I wanted. I can play as the 90s players now.
Yeah.
Multiple seasons, like I don't need to buy this anymore. Like I don't need to update this game now. I'm done.
Pretty good. Yeah. I also think I play way too many games to like suffer burnout. I just play way too many games.
Yeah, you have a lot of variety. So
yeah, anytime something gets to the end, I'm like, I'm not feeling it. On to I'm okay. Another new game. Insert a new game, new disc. Go back to play something I did like. I think I move on too quick from that. I'm not that type of person who sits there. I'm not like I would say the dev gamer, but even dev plays like a few things. But I know a few people that like they just play like the game. They play like this is the game or the other game. At any moment, I could play 12 or 24 games. I could play a couple dozen games. Yarden says, speaking of sports games, are you guys getting college football? I mean, I bought it on Xbox. Are you guys getting it at all? Yeah.
I've been waiting for this
for years. I remember when we started PSVG. I was like, one day. It was like PSVG episode 1. I was like, I love NCAA football.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for it to come back. I
might take time off work. Like
I am. I'm playing take the day off. Reddit had a thing the other day. It was like, where are you guys buying the game? Xbox to play? I was like, both? I don't wait for this game to go on sale and watch how many copies of this fucking game I buy.
Where are you buying it? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still holding out hope that when we get a Switch 2 or whatever, they're like an NCAA football. I'm like, oh my fucking God.
I can imagine that Switch case looking sweet.
I'll lose my ever-loving mind if they bring NCAA football to Steam Deck or any portable option at all. I'm here for it.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
All right. Our next question is from Brandon. Yes. Are we seeing game developers waiting to see what games and when they will be released so they can make it their best chance? With Xbox just having years in games like Pucky Squire with still no release date, does it benefit them to avoid games like the new 2D Zelda that have a 3-month window from announcement to release? Also, what are your opinions about Grimace in the Grimace story in the Major League Baseball? I don't know what the Grimace story is.
Plucky Squire is a Devolver thing. It's got nothing to do with Xbox.
I think so, yeah. That's Devolver.
But like Hollow Knight does. Like, I don't know. I think the easiest way to answer this game is game's hard. They're hard to make. Nobody really knows when they're coming out. Even when they come out, they're broken. Starfield's still not ready. Like Starfield's still like in the cooker.
Tell you that from going back and playing.
Yeah, like so. I don't know, man. I do think it's wise for, especially smaller games. You want to be out of the way of like anything that's going to suck up the attention in the vacuum. Not because like, oh, everybody doesn't play the same game. It's the marketing. You're not going to get the attention. Nobody's going to know that your game is there. Yes. You know, that you're harder to find and harder to reach because everybody's just talking about the other thing. You want to launch your game next to Hollow Knight or Elden Ring or Call of Duty or Final Fantasy or something and just be drowned out.
If you're a smaller game, stay away from October. Stay away from October, November.
I would.
It's starting to get to the point we need to stay away from January now because they're doing that January thing now too. It's like, we're gonna release our games in January. Like you gotta find like your little.
I think everybody will take notice for Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Everybody's
that's gonna be a wasteland. Everybody's gonna fucking you see all kinds of delays once that gets stated. People are like, nope. But yeah.
All right. We got 4 more questions, but I'm trying to get to put the wrestling questions together. So
just do that one then. Just do those, and we'll save the other ones. Or how many wrestling questions do we have?
We got 2.
Oh, we'll just do those.
We'll do those 2, and we'll save the other 2 for death. Then. All right. So I ask Smoking Joe's question first. Question for the show. Do you think? You know what? This might be a better question to say because Donnie might want to talk about this one for a minute because I have opinions on this. So I ask Counterpug's question first. What are your opinions on the men's and women's Money in the Bank matches? Who you think Gunther will face at SummerSlam between Seth Rollins and Damian Priest?
I'm not keeping up with storylines as closely. I don't even know who's in I know they're having tournaments and stuff, but I don't know who's there. So I don't know.
I actually am really interested in how they've been doing it lately because they've been giving you people you wouldn't expect to be in the Money in the Bank. Like the women's on. Bianca Belair lost, so she's not in it. So it's Chelsea
she's
Green.
A tag champ, right?
She lost the tag belts too.
They lost
the tag belts. Okay.
Yes, it's Chelsea.
So I thought Finn was going to win Money in the Bank, but then they gave him the tag belt, right? He got it back?
That's correct.
Yeah.
The tag belt.
So now I don't think he's going to be in it, but I thought that was like the story that was being told with Judgment Day imploding is that he would get the Money in the Bank and, you know, they would have like some sort of internal breakup, but that doesn't look to be the way they're going.
That's correct. Yeah.
So I have no idea.
So right now in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, so far it's Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, and Chad Gable with
Correct.
2 others to qualify. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match, it's Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria, and then 3 more qualifiers.
Yes.
I mean, I'd have to say it's Jay then.
Yeah, it would make sense. I could also see a world
cashes in on Priest or whoever wins or picks up that title at some point. I mean, it's an easy make feud for somebody that can easily slide into that spot.
I think Jay for the men makes sense. I think for the women, I think it's gonna be Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah,
could be.
They wanted to strap the rocket to her until like she went into all that drama and shit, with tweets and stuff, right?
Yeah,
that wasn't great.
That seemed like to really halt her push, but I mean, she looks the part. Looks
the part. She's over with the crowd still.
Yeah.
So, I think I like it so far. I think one thing that hasn't really been done for a long time in WWE is using the Money in the Bank the way it should be, which is to kind of lift somebody.
Yeah, of course.
And just carrying it helps the profile of someone. So there's a few people that I would like to see. I would love to see Chelsea Green have it. I think a heel Chelsea Green that'd be kind of cowardly heel run, that would be awesome.
They don't have to win.
Yeah.
You know, they can cash in and lose. A lot of people, you know, they think they always win. They don't have to win.
No, they don't. And as far as I think the other question was about Gunther. Who is
Gunther going to face at SummerSlam? Will it be Seth Rollins or is it going to be Damian Priest?
Is that locked in stone? Is he facing like the winner?
Yes, the person who won the match at what was it? King of the Ring. Whoever won.
I mean, I thought the idea of Seth coming back was to give Priest a a legit victory before he drops the belt. It's like to give him one to like cement his. You were the champion. You did the thing, and now you drop the belt.
I was thinking the same thing too.
Yeah,
but is he going to drop it to Gunther? Or like, are we ready? Are we just ready to give Gunther the belt? I kind of want Gunther's chase and rise to take a bit more than that.
I will say this:
it should be a story of him winning that belt, because once you put it on him, then you now booked into the how do you get it off of him? You know, like that's the same thing with the international. Like, that seems a bit abrupt to me.
I think if Seth wins against Damian Priest, I think he beats Gunther. But if Damian Priest,
I would be of the opposite mind. I would think if Seth wins and he drops it, he's the transitional champ.
Oh, you think that? Oh, no, I think they're gonna let Seth catch. I think Gunther will eventually beat Seth if Seth has the belt, but I don't think he'll beat him at SummerSlam.
So I would say that you have Priest beat them both, and you have Priest. You have Priest beat Gunther by nefarious means, and then maybe that triggers Gunther to then help whoever robs the belt. You got to get that belt off Priest, and you got to get it into the CM Punk Drew thing. Like that's where the belt should be going.
I mean, I like what I think Priest, despite people may say, I think he's been doing a really great job.
Oh, I love Priest. I know I love Damian Priest. Like,
but I agree with you. Like I mean, the thing that people are going to say though is, does Punk McIntyre need the title?
It doesn't, but it sets up something for Gunther to chase.
It does.
That establishes a champion in a reign, and then you could have Gunther going for that belt for like a year, and that's a big deal.
Like Gunther's that guy. Like they
don't cash it in off of
title.
Priest cashes in, wins it by nefarious means. Priest has a match and a half retained, and then Gunther's the champion. Now he's the champion. There's so much loss. There's no build there at all.
Where's the But is there a pay-per-view coming up in Germany?
Yes, that's why I said
after SummerSlam.
Is it in Germany? I didn't know that. So you maybe try to give them the home crowd thing.
I think it's in Germany,
but they never did that for Drew. They've had the battle, the Clash of the Castle, and they've farmed him out twice in both of those.
They didn't. So, they didn't do it.
That's good heel work. Either. Like that's real good heat. It's good heat. Make the babyface lose at home. Like that's good heat. I mean, am I alone and think like Gunther winning the title should be more of a celebration?
I agree.
I agree because he's going to be one of the faces of the company.
And it should be a culmination of something, not you showed up and here's the belt. That doesn't.
Yeah, the thing is he would have to lose to Priest with some kind of schmozzy finish.
Oh, 100%.
Because he cannot be beat straight.
No. The Judgment Day come in and they.
What are the only two people that have beat him straight up are Braun and Ilya, right?
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Sammy. So
yeah.
Money in the Bank is July 6th. SummerSlam is August 3rd, and Bash in Berlin is August 31st. So there you go.
He loses SummerSlam to set up a rematch that maybe in like a tag or something. Rematch. And he gets like the easy face, but it's not for the belt. I don't know. Like this just doesn't. None of that screams Triple H to me. Everything he's done when it comes to the titles has had long-term stories and booking and builds, and him just walking to SummerSlam or at home and just getting the belt off Priest and that's it. That just doesn't seem. That seems lazy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it wouldn't go with his style. It'll be interesting to see. I think this is why this is working right now, because you could kind of see it going multiple ways.
Keep it vague. Keep your options open.
I like it.
Yeah, it makes sense. There's lots of possibilities.
All right. Our last question from Smoking Joe. He says, do you think the WWE has gotten better or worse under Triple H's reign?
So I sarcastically wanted to ask you the question, Delvin. Do you think AEW's booking has gotten better or worse under the Triple H's reign?
I think somebody put it to me. I heard it on a podcast like a month ago. and I think it makes perfect sense to me. I think that AEW booking hasn't gotten better, it hasn't gotten worse. It's WWE's booking has gotten good again, and people always wanted to love WWE anyway, and now that WWE's back to being really, really good and exciting, people are like, well, we don't have to watch this anymore. And I've thoroughly enjoyed what WWE's been doing lately. It's been fantastic. I've liked a lot of it. Even the little missteps they've had, I'm like, oh, no, this is still really good. And I love the fact that we're in a place now where I can watch 3 different wrestling shows, AEW, WWE, TNA, and they're all
Say
3
his
vastly
name
different.
and he appears.
They're all vastly different.
Hendry.
He's awesome.
Shit's the best.
I like the fact that WWE is thinking outside the box. They're like, hey, we'll work with TNA. They won't have to be on. They won't be on our show, but they can be on NXT. I'm like, no, that works for me. I like the things WWE's doing. I love the Triple H reign. I think it's really great. I think it's fun. I honestly think that Triple H is giving me my favorite WrestleMania, so I have to love it.
Oh, he's
I love
crushed
this
it.
year's WrestleMania.
I mean, he's such a geek for this. And I've always loved Triple H. It was always my favorite wrestler. And anytime you ever hear anybody ever talk about what was Triple H like before he became the game, before he became famous, and everybody tell you like he was such a huge mark, and he was constantly talking creative and kind of like, this is his shit. He lives, eats, sleeps, breathes. This is exactly what there's not a more perfect person for the role. He loves it. This is what he does. He loves it.
And I think he's fantastic at it. I said, the build for this last WrestleMania was my favorite build.
And we knew that.
And my favorite WrestleMania.
We knew that with NXT. He flew so close to NXT that Vince had to kill it. Because the damn minor league became the like everybody just wanted to watch that. That was where the good stuff was, like we knew it. But
I think the big difference, before Triple H, after Triple H, is Vince wanted to entertain for an audience of one. It was what Vince thought was funny, what Vince thought worked.
True.
Triple H, and this is one of the things I really like about what he's doing. He makes the second storyline important, the third storyline, the fourth, the fifth. And I think him and that team are smart enough to know, hey, we have some people who just want to see great matches. You're getting great matches. You have some people who want the soap opera. You're getting the soap opera. You have guys and girls who are injured that they're still involved in the storyline somehow, even if they're not appearing on the screen. So it's just a more thoughtful product. It's a more mature product. And it does, I think, show some of like the glaring weaknesses of AEW, which I think is mostly, you have a lot of great wrestlers. You have some great personalities. You haven't figured out whether you're New Japan or WWE, like whether you're total sports style or you are sports entertainment. And I think they have to pick a lane. But I'm glad they're there. I'm glad MJF is back.
Well, why do they? You just mentioned you like WWE because they do a little bit of both.
Because
I think AEW is doing a little bit of both. I just don't think they're doing either of it very well.
Yeah, I think the issue, to me, the issue is still Tony Khan. Like,
I think it's, for me personally,
issue.
I think it's booking. The reason that I don't fuck with AEW anymore is booking. There's no payoff to watching their show every week.
Right.
The feuds come and go, factions come and go, willy-nilly, without any build. The opposite of everything I just said about, like what we just talked about Gunther. Like he's just gonna, he lost the belt. He's just gonna show up at SummerSlam, win the belt, and like that's some AEW shit. Like that's not what Triple H has been about. And I think that's what's missing is there's no through line through AEW show. When they first started, they talked about wins and losses are going to matter, and the records are matter, and you're supposed to build. And it really hasn't been any of that. The champs are the champs; they're going to stay there. Everybody that's not them aren't going to get up there. Like there's very little up and down the card, and it just kind of is what it is. And every week they have matches, but they don't mean anything. There's no weight to them. They don't last. They don't get paid off in the next show and the next show. There's no build or anything like that.
And that's why I say specifically a Tony Khan problem. The problem with Tony Khan is not the problem we think it is. The problem with Tony Khan is you can only let talent create those storylines for so long before you have to have some way to bring in some writers and some people to make those storylines make sense. Like you have very talented guys. Guys, they have Ricky Starks. There's no reason that
not doing anything.
Guy's not a superstar.
It's funny. That was the first thing that it was at the top of my mind, because on my wrestling podcast I listened to, they just said that apparently, like he's been on the bench and they haven't had him, and apparently he was really upset with I guess they broke him up with I was going to say what's his name, Big Bill is what he's called in AEW, and he didn't like that. He wanted to pay off. He wanted to do the honors. He wanted to like propel him forward. He wanted it to make sense. And they just wanted to split it to move in like that's the thing.
And it doesn't make any sense. And it's very that stuff feels like 2000.
There's so much of it. There's like Jericho has had 9 factions. There's 4 death triangles. It's like, guys,
nobody wants them.
Fucking make it make sense.
I'm going to defend AEW and also shit them at the same time with this. My problem with what they're doing is the fact that and it goes back to what Donnie said earlier about this a while back. Sometimes it feels like the inmates are running the asylum in terms
they are. It's not feels like they are running.
Well, when you have people like, hey, like for example, Ricky Stark, he says, well, that doesn't work for me, brother. Well, Ricky Stark's just going to sit out. If you're going to keep having people say that doesn't work for me, brother, and people just sitting out for months, then what's the fucking point of having them there? And that's my whole thing. Like, if you're going to keep having people saying, because this is a constant thing we hear with people, this person X doesn't like his creative, so person X is not going to be on TV. If you keep having this situation happen, where you're having these people that are just sitting on the sidelines and they don't want to do what you want them to do, and you keep having them sit, then what's the point of having them there? Just let them go to WWE or someplace else.
I want to push back though, because I didn't like the connotation that they're being Hulk. I didn't get the sense in any of the reporting that I read that it's a Hulk Hogan thing.
That's not a Ricky thing.
Yeah, it's not. He's not like this doesn't work for me. He's like this is shit.
But
like let's do something that's the thing. Better.
But that's the thing. You keep hearing these. I'm not referring to Ricky Stark in general. You keep hearing these stories of people saying, "I don't like my creative." Instead of the creative getting fixed, they're just not being used. Yeah, it's a constant thing.
I'm inclined to believe them, if only because you see. We've seen a lot of the same, like the top stars are still the top stars. The Bucks are still there. They're still going to keep doing, like, they still have their placement, right? And they've brought in all this talent, and we've seen them get over, right? We have, I forget the name of the dude. I was going to say Rhino. It's not Rhino. Wardlow, right? Wardlow became the hottest thing ever, and they just cooled him right the fuck off, right? They don't
goes back to what I was saying.
Pull the trigger. And what have they done with Miro? Nothing. They bring Edge in. What does he do? Just spears everybody and wins everything until he gets hurt. It's just like, what are we doing?
Well, they're like stars. It's just like, but you have to fit in the dynamic of. For what it looks like to me is, Tony Khan doesn't know how to pivot. He has an idea for a story, and if something happens, like the person gets injured or something happens, he just ends the story. And it happens too many times, like the whole Ricky Starks thing. That happened because Ricky Starks was supposed to be in a feud with CM Punk. That was supposed to be Ricky Starks' big moment.
Right.
He was a feud with CM Punk for a while.
And then
once CM Punk left, he's like, well, I don't know what the fuck to do with you now. We don't know how to pivot.
Let's throw you in a tag and let's get you in a thing. And if I was Ricky Starks, I'd be mad too.
Yeah.
I'd be like, no. Let's put me in somewhere else. And like, that's the point I was trying to make is I don't think they do a very good job of elevating up and down the card.
No.
Right? They kind of have, it feels very WCW. They have this group of folks locked in here. They have this group of folks locked in below them, and they'll all wrestle each other, but nobody's moving up. Nobody's really moving down. Like you kind of, there's like a predestination there.
WCW. And it feels
I won't
PG
say that completely.
Era WWE. It feels like, hey, this is who we have here. And Triple H is like, well, everybody's a superstar, and not everybody can have the title. Not everybody can.
I was going to point to what you said earlier, JV, about the WWE show. it feels like the Attitude Era again.
Important. Yeah.
There are secondary storylines and people coming in and out of the top storylines, and somebody mixes with Cody and then goes back down. There's purpose for that. It feels like when Rock and Stone Cold were on top, but they worked with Kane, they worked with Taker, they worked with Mankind, they worked with Valvina. Like, they worked around.
And here's the thing I love the most. Oh, go ahead, Dylan.
I want to say AEW does that, but they don't talk about like they do that. Like,
there's no reason for it. They just turn on the match and they're in the ring.
They just throw matches on, and that's my problem, because the problem is, like, a lot of people don't even know Swerve Strickland's their champion.
Right.
Swerve's their champion. Yep. Okada's their Intercontinental champion. They have people who have belts, and people don't know this because they, one, they don't watch the product, and two, people talk about the Bucks and stuff like that. They're not highlighting that more. If Swerve Strickland's your champion, he should be in the main event on Dynamite every week.
Should be in the main event. Exactly.
He should not be the opening match.
The middle match. He was in the match before the main event a few weeks back. He was in the penultimate match.
You're the main guy on the show.
Champ.
Open it or close it. Open it or close it.
Exactly.
That's your turn.
Exactly. And then you have the fact that they just give away matches that are pay-per-view quality on regular TV and don't even promote it.
I hate that.
Like, why is Roosh and MJF fighting for no reason? Which they had a great match, but nobody fucking knew the match was there because they didn't promote it. Like,
they lack the build. They lack the build, and when they come across it, they don't capitalize. Yes. Sometimes out of a fluke, they build a build. Like, a crowd gets behind somebody and they want to push them. And then more often than not, they don't pay that off. And for me, I watched it long enough where I just didn't get the payoff enough. Where I was like, I don't need to, like, why would I keep watching?
They'll do things. Just two quick hits here. They'll do things. This is a prime example. You bring Mercedes Moné in, and then she doesn't wrestle for 2.5 months.
Yes.
At the same time, she's not wrestling. Willow is the champ. Willow's getting over and over and over. Correct. And over. And it's clear who the fans actually want to see as the champ. Like, they would like Mercedes to chase a little bit more because she hasn't been wrestling. It doesn't make it, the calls don't make any sense. If you knew she couldn't wrestle for 2.5 months, why did you bring her on and let her do the thing that's not her strong suit? That's
the WCW feeling, where it's we pay this person the most money, so they win.
Yeah, I'm going to have Mercedes Moné talk. I love Mercedes, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. That's not her thing. That's not
the best promo. Not a bad promo. Not the best promo.
And then I just want to say about WWE really quickly. This is why it's working. Your main storyline on SmackDown right now is Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes, but within that, you have the difference of the bloodline, what's happening with Paul. You have Cody and Randy that we know eventually has to come. Cody has to give his boy a shot. Yep. All these things are happening.
What it means for Roman, what it means for The Rock. It's multi-layered. There's things. There's depth. Stories.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, we just brought in Tama and we're bringing them in like one at a time, very specific. Mm-hmm. We're even telling you that the dynamics between them are different.
People are talking about a fucking bloodline Avengers Civil War standoff idea of the future. They're talking about what would you do with the Wyatt Six versus the bloodline one day in the future. Like, there's endless possibilities, and they're just that
stars.
Exactly.
And they continue to build stars. That is the big thing.
Well, and that's always been the Vince McMahon thing. That's been his thing for the longest time, is we'll just make the next one.
Yes.
That's been my biggest thing with AEW. Also, I don't think it's without miss. I do think it's a lot of self-infliction. It's also like super hard to follow. Yeah, Rampage, Dynamite, Ring of Honor, like some things you can watch, some things you can't, some things, being the elite, like it's I feel like some consolidation would be great. Like maybe don't do so many shows. Let's bring them all together. You have so many things you're trying to follow that if you're not watching all of it, you're really out of loop. I think that's also hurting it. If you consolidate it all.
AEW is owned by a son's billionaire. They have billions of dollars. I got the perfect guy to fix their issues. Paul Levesque. Go buy Paul Levesque out of his contract. He'll make AEW sing.
I keep hearing all of the buzz as everybody wants Shane McMahon, which would be funny and could be entertaining, but at the same time, it's like I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this way. AEW was pitched to be an alternative, and it was supposed to be different. And I find it funny that every opportunity, all they want to do is hire WWE people and be more like WWE. And I'm like, you're trying to be more like WWE at a moment when WWE is firing on all cylinders.
That's correct.
You're just watered down WWE. That's not good. We saw that with TNA. Like, be different. I wanted the different. I was here for the different. Yeah. I was here for Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin and death matches and Kenny Omega. Like, that's what I wanted. And when they were doing that, I liked it. And we got away from it.
It was still there. And with Triple H's regime, those things that were being covered up by really dope wrestlers, really dope
I'm finding
guys.
that in TNA. I've clowned TNA for years, and I check out their YouTube channel all the time because the shit is on fire right now. TNA is fun. Yeah. It's fun to watch. That's what AEW should. That's what AEW used to be.
AEW has a wealth of talent. They got to figure out how to make this work. Because if they don't, it'll probably go down as one of the biggest missed opportunities in wrestling, to have that much talent on one roster and to not be able to get people into the building or to watch the shows. That's a shame.
And to be fair, people go into the building, but people only go into the building for the pay-per-views. They don't watch the show.
Right.
It's
coming
becoming
out.
a pay-per-view company, which is not good. Like the pay-per-views are selling out. They're doing good numbers. Like the Wembley Stadium thing is doing great numbers, but no one's going to their regular shows because they're like, all right, we already know what we're going to see.
They should go to. I mean, we've seen this before. This is old. Then you go to tapings and you go to smaller venues and you be more targeted, so it doesn't look like it's so empty. Because that doesn't help. It doesn't help. You see it on TV and you see it online. It doesn't help when a third of the stadium is, and you're like, what? Like, that's a TNA problem. We've talked about that a long time.
Yeah.
When you can hear people having conversations in the crowd, it's not good.
Yeah, exactly.
You're doing your guys a disservice. You can't run back to dailies every time. They are becoming New Japan in the worst way. And what I mean by that is, no one watches New Japan's week to week. They only watch the pay-per-views of New Japan.
Wrestle Kingdom.
I
don't think they watch all of them. They just watch one.
Yeah.
Like for a majority of people, just watch one or two. That's it.
Exactly. And AEW's becoming that. Like, hey, we'll watch these pay-per-views and the rest
that's not surprising because that's who's running it. Bunch of people that worked at New Japan.
Yeah.
That's who they hired.
Yeah. It works in Japan. It's not going to work here.
So that was my thing. Like they leaned so into that, and like I watched the Omega Okada matches. I don't understand what his work did, but like nobody knows who Okada is. You know, like you bring him in, you just expect people to know. It's like, yeah, the diehard internet fans know, like the people that had all-in tickets know. Nobody watching TV knows who he is.
He's been fantastic on TV.
To be a star.
Yeah, but you have to build him up. You have to introduce him. You have to build him up. Like, you just can't be like, and he's amazing. People are like, who, why? Who is that? They have no idea who that is.
Him just working the mic has been fantastic. It's just nobody's fucking seeing it. Because they haven't built it up enough. Like the whole thing where I think they were doing the what chants, and he goes to the crowd, shut up, bitches, just walks away.
Hilarious.
Was amazing.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
They were chanting CM Punk. That's what they were chanting. They were chanting CM Punk at the Bucks. And he just goes to the crowd and says, shut up, bitches. Just walks off.
He was funny. Their old stuff when they started, it felt like an indie wrestling show. Which is stuff that you saw if you went in person, but you never saw on TV. WWE would never put any of that on TV. You never know of Cassidy on TV or the librarians or the barbed wire matches and stuff like that. That was cool.
Yeah.
But they got away from it. They hired too many people, and you start running more people, and Jericho and Sting and the Hardys and Edge and Christian. It's like, what is this? This is WWE 2006.
Yeah. Get Jericho the fuck off TV.
Christian is fun though. The dad
Christian's great. Christian's having his best
run. That goes
run.
pretty hard. Yeah.
But I don't know. I root for them because I want them all to be good.
I do too. I want everybody to be successful.
We should say all three of us want AEW to be great.
Yeah, I don't hate
watch
them.
AEW.
That's why we're so passionate about
my
it.
vitriol comes from the fact that they've signed some of my favorite wrestlers that I think they've done absolute shit with. They've done nothing with Miro. I don't think they've done a whole lot with Aleister Black. Like these are, in my opinion, these are top guys. These are people
super talented guys.
Yeah, these are people you put over.
Yeah.
They'll get other people over. They'll make stars of new people.
Yeah, my guy's Andrade.
I mean,
Andrade was really good.
Where's Britt Baker? Like,
she was so over. God, she was incredibly over. And Thunder Rosa, like they had a whole thing, that whole moment together.
Yeah, it's insane.
Just lost in the grapevine.
Yeah. All right, I think that does it for us, doesn't it?
Yeah, fun show, long show. I didn't think it would be this long.
Yeah.
But JV, thanks for coming back.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Love it. Love to be here with you guys.
Dev should be back next week.
Yeah. And that's been great tonight, JV.
Yeah. The upgrades are good. Sorry, kids. Fuck them kids.
Them kids. 3 hours without internet, food, water.
Yep.
They'll be all right.
Yep.
Yeah.
You'll be all right tomorrow. All right. That'll do it for us. Well, I have to go work the debate tomorrow, so it'll be a very long day for me.
It's going to be a great day.
Oh, my God.
Let me tell you, it's going to be the absolute best debate there's ever been. Many people are saying, I'm one of the best
people have already said.
I saw
yesterday.
And many people are saying, Donnie, it's going to be your greatest work shift ever because you're going to be in the presence.
I'm going to be in the EOC till like 2 a.m. We have that and Copa America. They're like 6 blocks apart. We have Copa Mercedes-Benz, fucking giant super soccer game, and like 6 blocks away of Secret Service and police and Homeland Security locking everything down.
I'll absolutely be
geriatrics
Copa America.
Who fucking told them to do this at bedtime anyway? We can do this at 3. We gotta do this at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Y'all don't work
doing it at 10 a.m.
during the work day? Like,
the more people gonna fall asleep right during that debate.
I look forward to it.
Bedtime.
But yeah, long day, so I gotta get out here and get to bed. But yeah, thanks for watching, tuning in. We'll catch you next week when Dev gets back. Go play some video games. Doom video games. Play some Doom video games.
The middle of the bed is only where you do the business. But when everybody's ready to sleep, it's the side of the bed that can't be beat. It's the middle of the bed where lovers meet. But when it comes time to slumber, it's the edges. Ooh, 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 the edges.